Hello, everyone, and welcome to RHAP's coverage of Survivor 50 for Survivor Global and a special podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Guss, here to weigh in on Survivor 50. How many episodes are we in? I should know. 9? I'm going to guess 9. If you haven't seen it, Christian just went home. I hope you've seen it. So I'm here to weigh in for the first time on Survivor 50 after being on maternity leave. I have many, many thoughts. We're going to look back at the season at large to where we are now. And to talk about it, I have a wonderful co-host who I always love talking about Survivor with. It is Chappell. Chappell, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Shannon. I'm very happy to have you back on the mic talking about this show. We just wrapped our coverage of Survivor AU, and that was so much fun. I loved hearing you talk with the mic, and so I was extremely jealous that we had not got your opinions about this season of Survivor US. And so I am happy that I am the chosen recap uncle to be able to hear and break everything down with you and get your opinions about some of the things that's been going on.
Yeah, I mean, look, AU was fantastic. For anyone who hasn't watched the latest season of Australian Survivor, it was really, really good. It was, I won't spoil AU, but in many ways, like so opposite to what is happening here. I feel like this is like the character season, but the strategy is very limited, whereas like the strategy in that season was phenomenal. I mean, the what's happening in 50, we can talk about it. Like, it's not that interesting strategically to me. Like, I think probably the most interesting vote in this season of 50, now I'm coming in already as a Debbie Downer, but like probably doesn't crack the top 10 of the interesting AU votes that we had. So I wanted to prioritize AU. Obviously, like that's my beat. I was listening to you guys and we did some check-ins there. But now that that's over, here to talk about 50. And I will come in. Okay, look, I don't want to come in fully as Debbie Downer. We're going to talk about the good and the bad. But this podcast, Genesis, Chappell, a couple of days ago, I texted you and I said, I think I'm ready to call it. I think 50 is bad. And we talked about it a bit. We were chatting about it. And then we're like, maybe we should talk about this on the podcast. So we're here to talk about the twists, the big moments, the characters, but maybe we can try to convince each other about where the season is at.
Yeah, the overarching question is this season good or bad, right? It's a very binary question. You know, obviously there's a lot of nuance to it. And I hopefully y'all fill our comment section with, your opinions about, the nuance of this, because we're going to try to narrow this down to yes or no. And I think that the question is good. But Shannon and I are very obviously on opposite ends of this. And I think that we kind of landed on, it depends on what you're looking for in a season, in the twist, in characters, in strategy. But for me, it's the boot order, Shannon. The boot order has to serve me for me to enjoy a season of Survivor a lot of times. And I personally, with, recent events notwithstanding, I've been very happy with the boot order this season, and to see, my fave and yours and a lot of the people listening to this fave, Cirie, kind of at the center of making a lot of this stuff happen. I've been very much enjoying this season.
I think like the boot order is part of it, but it's actually not all part of it, because when we came in and we saw this cast for 50, like I was pretty critical of it. I think that the cast has exceeded my expectations. Like everyone's kind of there to do something interesting. Like they're really giving it their all. And the boot order is not amazing for me, and we'll talk about it, but it's not just that. Like for me, it really is how overproduced the season is. And I think what it was like, firstly, the tough thing with 50 is like it's never mid. Like it's either incredible or not, or terrible, and there's no middle ground, and the stakes are so high because it's doing this with returnees that you care about. So there's that aspect. And then I think like I was enjoying it so much. Like episode 2 of this season like gave me life. I watched that episode the day I came home from the hospital from having my baby, and it was the best part of my week. No, maybe it was up there. It was really, it was up that there. Episode 2 was so like, and that I was really enjoying it, and I am still enjoying huge parts of it. Like last week alone, that scene where Cirie comes back from Exile Island, I watched that too many times to count. Like that scene alone gives me life. Like watching Cirie every week gives me life. Like so much of what these characters are doing, which we'll talk about, are amazing. But I think something in my soul died the night of the blood moon. Because in all honesty, like Camilla and Colby and Genevieve, none of them were like hugely my rooting interest. Like, of course, I'm like always kind of rooting for Genevieve. She's like, but she wasn't like my top person. And Camilla, I wish the best for Camilla. Interesting in like a new era second chance. I didn't kind of need to see her back immediately on this, especially not with like 348ers. And Colby, like actually, I Colby exceeded my expectations on the season, but I was actually harsh on casting him to begin with. So like it wasn't that it screwed over the three of them, but it was that anyone could be disrespected to that level of like overproduced bad TV. There's nothing they can do. They get completely swap screwed, all of them. Their hands are tied behind their back and they're just shot like fish in a barrel. And I thought, it could have been so much worse. It could have happened to Cirie. And in the future, it will. And it stopped me from being as invested because I'm like, at a point, this will come for my faves. And with Christian, we can talk about it, it kind of did. And it's painful to watch. And I think once the blood moon happened, like something inside me shifted that I've never been able to get past in the season because I know what they're doing. And it's hard to trust. It's really hard to trust a season that's making this many bad decisions. And it's almost getting lucky with the good stuff, and that's all cast based.
Yeah, the editing has been very weird. People talked about how it's unbalanced, and very clearly it is, especially at the I guess the detriment to the women mostly. And so with the blood moon, we losing 2 of the women in this season. It does feel like their story wasn't really explored too much because they were going to go out like this, especially Camilla, right? I think Genevieve had a little bit more of a story because she did find an idols that she could not use, which is crazy that she had to give them away, and that the one person who does need them is the person who had to give all of hers away. So yeah, I think that's very disappointing when watching. But like, to me, the twist itself, it would have swap screwed basically anybody. It could have been anybody, and it just it's almost like the roulette wheel landed on those 3 people, and now all of a sudden they're just out of the game. Like you said, Colby gets a little bit more of a glowing kind of edit. I guess for Colby, the bar was already in hell, but for Genevieve and Camilla, it does feel like we were robbed of seeing some of the magic that made them want to get put back on the show as well. But I didn't take the blood moon as hard. But to your point, had it been one of my faves, my big rooting interest, I would have been devastated.
Exactly, but that's the thing. And then I see people so much. It's like people just don't like when their favorites get screwed. I'm like, none of those people were technically like my favorites, and I don't like that. But the thing is, actually, like none of them deserved. It was just so disrespectful. It felt so disrespectful to Colby. I'm like, this is like a Mount Rushmore name. Like if you were to quiz a casual, quiz my dad, the first person he says, the guy who's on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like Colby is up there more than a Tony and a Sandra for the real casuals, like Colby, Hatch, and Johnny Fairplay and Boston Rob.
Yeah.
Like probably. And this man is doing better than we thought he was. Like he's coming in, apparently he's like the head of the snake. And I actually liked he was trying to like wield that power a little bit. I was like, okay, Colby, like we didn't get to see it because it didn't matter because he's going to get screwed. So we'll talk about the boot order, but this was something on AU where we felt like, you have favorites and maybe they do it to themselves. And then it's like, it's sad, but it's earned. And part of Survivor is being hurt by Survivor. I've said it so many times this year. I can handle it. I'm not going to love a season where the boot order is worse and we're left with a worse cast. But if they do it to themselves, I can handle it. But I don't want the show to do it to them. I don't want to feel like people have no room to move. I end up feeling so sad about it. Colby doesn't even have a shot in the dark. Which is kind of a funny thing to put in the same sentence, given the different eras those things are from. But and then I felt that with Christian this week, is I was like, once they didn't let him bluff, he's just standing there getting pants by Jonathan. He's like putting his head in a toilet while his hands are tied behind his back. And I don't think that's great TV. And we can talk about it, but I think a lot of the twists are so limiting. And the format of the new era with the smaller votes and everything is so limiting. And it just doesn't give the scope for someone like a Christian or Devins who are trying to be really creative and innovative. And this cast is trying to be really creative and innovative. And there's no space for that in what they're doing. So that's what is killing me with the production, I think.
Yeah, I think that, Terrence made this point on Big Brother before, too, that a lot of times the twists don't enhance the game. They just kind of limit the gameplay. They make people play a lot tighter. Everything's a lot less interesting when the twists are driving the game. And in these moments, you kind of question, like you said, it's very disrespectful. You question why you would bring back these legendary players to put them in situations that don't allow them to do the things that they're legendary for, right? You give them more space to get more votes, to rally more people, give them chances to play a social game, a political game, a strategic game, even a physical game. But when you're limiting them to all right, let's put you back on tiny tribes, it's like that doesn't give anybody any wiggle room to work any magic. Don't get me wrong, some people are able to, for sure. But if I'm a legend of the game, but if I'm a legend of the game, don't bring me back. So where I feel like I couldn't even leave it all out there. I couldn't give it my all because I was limited by the parameters that you set forward. So I totally agree with that. But like I said, the blood moon, to me, I think it probably would hit harder for sure. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I completely acknowledge my bias that it would hit harder if it was somebody that I did not really want to see go or that I was really rooting for. But at the same time, it was so ho-hum, you know, like it was supposed to be this big thing, and it ended up being a lot of
Just
lore.
swap screws. Yeah.
Right. And it was just three swap screws
Yeah.
disguised as a big twist.
It was actually not that historic at all. It
Yeah,
was just
it wasn't
like
yeah,
it
no
wasn't
one's
even
gonna
like
talk
some
about
big thing.
this.
It was just three swap screws in one episode. Which and the
Right.
thing is, you say it like it obviously stifles gameplay. And I feel like so many of these twists, firstly, like really make people rely on pre-gaming. Like you should be pre-gaming if they're gonna quote unquote merge you, and then the next day have you in tiny little tribes of people you barely know. And the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol also did that with the pre-gaming. Like, so you would think that like, okay, you need to have these connections on the other side. So it's like, why are we really encouraging the pre-gaming? And yeah, it stifles gameplay because you want to be more conservative, but you also want to be like really congenial. Like we see Camilla, she did like one vote that left out a couple of people, which you should be able to do on Survivor. You know, like it is obviously like being congenial is like you're having a comprehensive social game. Like that's a virtue, of course. But the show shouldn't want that. The show should want the people, like that was some of the best stuff, like Dee and Jonathan fighting. Like it should want the drama. It should want these big votes where people, if you have two sides and these lines and people are left out, the show should want that. But it does not at all encourage that, because what the players should be doing is, you know, having only friends, never having any enemies. Like Genevieve had like one ops, and like sure you can go for one ops. They might have an idol, whatever it is, but like you can't just have like one negative person, because it's not even a series of decisions that will lead to you going out. What will happen is like if you just pull a rock with that person, that's enough. So shouldn't leave anyone out of votes. Who knows if they just have the numbers next time? You shouldn't have one person who you're against, because they could have all the power next time, and it's not even going to be okay. Well, then did you blindside them wrong or whatever? Like a series of decisions that could lead to your demise. It could literally be one negative relationship and a rock draw. So everyone should just be friends with each other. And I don't know that the show knows that that's what it's encouraging. So many questions. Did I expect to come on and for 12 minutes just rant? Yeah, kind of I did.
Yeah, that was the point. We came here to vibe. But I will say this, that again, I'm not so mad at the season as a whole, because you're right. We were all critical of the cast, but it wasn't that we were critical of the people on the cast. All these people have been good TV in their own right, to whatever you want, whatever you look for in a Survivor player, right? There are people on here who are known for drama. There are people who on here who won their season. There are people on here who are known for chaos. You know, we got all ends of the spectrum on this cast. It's just, it wasn't a cohesive cast, but seeing them on the island together has been very fun. You know, this idea that Cirie's top two alliance members are Ozzy, somebody she's known her whole life, and Rizo, somebody who she's never seen play Survivor before ever. You know, like to me, that's very interesting, and I've been enjoying, you know, what it looks like when we have one of the most ambitious crossover events in Survivor history.
Yeah, I mean, look, the character moments have surprised me. Like, did I think I needed like the South Pacific Redux? No, like not one part of me as a Survivor fan for any moment was like, where will that go with Coach and Ozzy? Like these two captains that came in, and I loved it. Like I was loving so much of that stuff. People, again, I was critical of them casting, like again, Colby, we didn't see it, but like he was trying to play this new era game. And apparently doing well at it. Like Coach, and your mileage may vary on Coach. I actually like enjoy Coach. Like I'm the kind of person who's, I don't want to be as harsh when people are just trying to make TV. You know, it's up to the editors if they want to put that in. And obviously, like some of it hits more than others. But like a lot of the shtick for Coach actually does hit for me. I acknowledge she's trying to make TV on a TV show. I think there are worse crimes. And also like the best part of Coach is like he has no idea what actually makes him the most entertaining. Like obviously he came in the preseason interview. It's like, Coach is quite self-aware now. Like he might have a chance. And immediately immediately like crying about how Ozzy says he doesn't have integrity. It's like, oh, you can't help being who you are. There's such a wonder, like, you know, either people change or can quickly change back. Like Leopard can't change its spots and Coach cannot either. And that's so entertaining. So like these characters, a lot of the time, I think I'm enjoying a lot more than I thought. But I will say it's still a disparate cast. Boot order still matters in these returnee seasons. I think anytime you have a returnee season that's not like, pretty much like Heroes versus Villains is great, but like you got to keep it, I think, like tight on theme. Like Second Chances is great because it's not disparate. Like it's one time losers, we know. And I think that if you have the whole scope of the season, like multi-time players, and like obviously you're going to care more about people you've known maybe possibly for decades, or you know who've played multiple times. Like you put investment into these disparate casts, and then the boot order matters. And we were talking about this. My brother came up with this thing where he was like, I feel like where we're at is we currently have like our top, like where we were at as fans, my brother and I, and everyone's going to be different on this, but like we have our top 2 cases in Deal or No Deal. We have Cirie and Christian at the time, and then we've lost like a lot of cases, and now we have like a lot of bottom cases still in the game, and that is true for me, and it makes me upset that I haven't been ordering all returnee casts as Deal or No Deal cases. In the future, I'm going to be doing this because I think it helps me track where I'm at. But at the moment, I'm all in on my $1 million case. Like I have Cirie there, and I have the banker calling being like, will you take a Rick Devens win?
Right.
And I don't should and Deal or No Deal. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like, and that's but I've lost a lot of my top cases, Chappell. So that's gonna impact how people feel about the season.
Right. And you and I famously, we disagree about Winners at War as far as how good that season is. And you are a pro Winners at War person, and I am very anti. It's like, it is a season of television I do not see myself watching again. There are Survivor seasons that are way worse than Winners at War that I have actually watched again. And I'm like, it's been several years, and I've yet to go back and like go through Winners at War and be like, let me see if I can find the joy in this. But it's largely because of the boot order. It is all of my Deal or No Deal cases just falling, like just dropping like flies for, I want to say at least 6 episodes in a row. I was losing top cases, and then I'm left with the Ben Driebergen case, the Nick Wilson case, the Denise case, and I'm just like, what am I going to do with these damn cases? And then the Tony case. Was that a good deal in the end? The Tony case was like the best possible deal. No, it wasn't to me. Honestly, the Natalie Anderson case, I would have taken the Natalie Anderson case,
Edge, maybe it's worth a little bit less money.
Right. But that's the thing too. All of my cases were over there sitting on the edge. And as a diehard fan of this show, it's so hard for me to be like, okay, but like, what if one of my good cases comes back and then we just like steal the season? I don't even know.
That's breaking Deal or No Deal. So
right, exactly, but that's the edge of extinction, right? Like that's the whole point. And so
I can get my $1 million case back. Like, what do we?
I could just have it.
Imagine the outrage if they allowed to do that. That would fundamentally break the show. So really
right. Well, I mean, which we did during the Edge of Extinction. Like we've literally had these conversations before, right? And so I couldn't even put my heart behind. Okay, I'm supportive of something like that happening, right? Like the idea that Tyson came back and was like the silver line. I was like, wait, it's like I'm like wiping tears from my eyes. Like, wait, Tyson can win this, and then I'm like, oh no, he cannot. Like it got to the point where I didn't even know what I was rooting for anymore. So all my cases were gone. My big cases were gone, and so I really did not enjoy a large portion of that season. Here, I love these cases. We got the Cirie case. That's the $1 billion case. God doesn't allow me to have nice things, and so that $1 billion case, right? Like that case so big that they don't even bring it out. That's like the secret bonus case that you don't even know exists. It just, to me, it's so
that bankrupts the show like that, like what actually happened.
Yeah, that's David. That's David destroying Dondi, right? Like this is like, if you get the Cirie case, like what do we do next season? How do we do next season?
That's why I'm not taking the deal, because I'm like, that's still out there. Like I
gotta take it. I gotta take the deal. But then of course, like I am a big Aubrey fan. Been enjoying her. What do you think about Aubrey's story throughout this season so far?
I defended Aubrey, that she should have won Wrong with my dying breath. And I still think that that's like a really good example of like crazy juries. It's nothing against Michelle. It's against Scott and Jason. You trust them to make the right decision. Right. So I've always been like a huge Aubrey fan. She's been like pretty dour on this season. Like people can like feel their emotions, but wasn't she crying when they like brought out Zach Brown? Like, what is happening, Aubrey? Like, I feel like she's not having fun, and I'm not having that much fun watching her. Although that one little clip where she and Coach is dancing is one of the best parts of the season. So, I mean, like, I didn't know that I needed to see Aubrey again, and I don't think she's changed right now. Because again, Aubrey's come back every single time that's been available to her since she played in Wrong. And she hasn't changed my mind on that. So she's not like a high case for me. And what's the tough thing about the Deal or No Deal version of Survivor? You can see what the cases are when they're debating between it. It's like episode 3, you've got like my top 3 case in queue versus Stephanie. And it's like, okay, what choice are we making? And everyone in that alliance that went down, it's like, do you know that Stephanie's right there? Like for my personal case, right there. Right. Every time. It's like, damn it, you've taken a really good case from me. And there was another case, and that's just unfortunate. And when I lost my Christian case, my number 2 case, now I'm all in on Cirie. I lost a lot of good cases in a row. Like, I feel like for my boot, there was like, so Q was like the beginning of the end to me. I was heartbroken. And then we lost like Mike White and Angelina and Charlie. Like, those were like 4 of my top 6 cases probably. And at that point, I'm like, well, the board's looking pretty bad. Compared to Winners at War, Winners of War, obviously, we lost a lot of the legends early.
There were a lot of legends to choose from, though, right? It was really, it'd be hard to swing and miss at a legend.
I think the Winners of War cast is a lot better than this cast generally. Like, you know, and we were left with a lot of the bottom cases at the end. I mean, maybe higher on someone like Denise than you are, but again, obviously I'm way higher on Tony. Like, Tony was my David. This will break Dondi case. It was impossible. Like, that Tony was going undrafted. And like, as a huge Tony fan, like, it was a fever dream. He was my Cirie case. He was my like David case. And he won, and I got the best possible deal. And I had Jeremy, who was like maybe my second case. I mean, Sandra's there, Parvati's there, but like possibly top 2, and they were tearing it up. And like I was pretty good with my top 2 cases. I wasn't as low as on it as you, but this brings me to now. So like if Cirie pulls a Tony and wins, the season is different, obviously. Like obviously if Cirie wins, I mean, anything was worth it. I've been saying for ages they should be doing a bad Redemption Island type season for Cirie to win for ages. Fields versus the field. It should be Cirie, possibly some of the Field family. We can play. Okay,
I'll definitely play.
Fields. Yeah,
I am.
Yeah, we could get Izzy, we could get Lisa, we could get Ozzy and Rizo. Apparently, we could get all of these people, and we could have a Fields, and they could be against the field. We could just find the dumbest morons ever. She doesn't even need it, to be honest. Everyone's a moron compared to Cirie, but for her to get her win, a redemption, like whatever, like anything would be worth it, obviously. For my top case, like I hate to be results oriented, but that would hugely change the season. It would also change like these twists for me, even though it's not as enjoyable week to week. Like if Cirie wins, goddamn has she earned it. She's, you know, like Blood Moon, like she had the extra vote. She was good with everyone. Like she actually can never go then. Like she's beyond the twist. And that Tony was as well. Like there were dumb twists of Winners at War, and Tony beat the twist. Like someone didn't come off the edge and win. Like he beat the edge. That's how well he did. He beat Extortion. So he kind of minimized the negatives of that season. Cirie would do the same thing. Like obviously that would change if I got my $1 billion case. However, I refuse to believe Chappell. I refuse to believe that she's winning. She's not. It's not. I can't. It's not. I will not be hurt by this stupid show again. I will not be there like, you know, 7 times or more. Shame on me at a point. Like I can't. I'm not letting the show hurt me again.
I have to remain positive because in episode 8 of this season, the Double the Fun, Double the Demise episode, Shannon, that's arguably the best episode of Cirie on Survivor ever.
You think
like it was
than the Eric episode?
Yeah, because that was an ensemble cast. That was, you know, that was partly Natalie. That was the part, you know, like it was Amanda doing her thing. We all know, real ones know, okay, who was the mastermind behind that. But it was very much spread across. Yeah, it was spread across the table for everybody to get some bites. Episode 8 was the Cirie show, the Cirie-naissance, as I've been calling it. She goes away to Exile Island, someplace that she went away to Exile Island, a place that she's been multiple times. So I was like, okay, she can do this. She's done Exile. You know, I'm walking with her through this journey. She gets there. They got 2,000 coconuts. The fact that they even took the time to put 2,000 coconuts on that beach is actually crazy.
So disrespectful, by the way. I was like, how much she's been through? You give her the. I mean, they were closing up on it a lot, so they would kind of. You would think it's like it's this one, but don't make Cirie look through coconuts. What are you doing?
Right, and while this is happening, her strategic ally Ozzy has now taken the reins of their game, and he is like, we're about to do something that's really bad for us. Let's do that. And they're like, seemingly everybody's kind of on board for it. Cirie wins immunity. That's what I've been calling this episode, because as far as I was concerned, she was immune and she won a challenge, you know, individually. So in my mind, this was an individual immunity challenge. You can't make me change my mind. She does find the coconut here, and then she comes back and she completely alters the course of the game. We are given it that this is the Cirie move. She comes in, looks around, and says, "No, we're not doing that." And everybody's like, "You're right, we're not doing that." And we even get Ozzy in confessional being like, "Who am I to have strategy when Cirie is the strategy? What was I doing?" It
was like his learner's permit. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't allowed to like get in the car without the chaperone yet, and unfortunately, like he was gone. So he's like trying to drive, and he's like hitting some mailboxes, and
he's
like
crying, tears in his eyes. Yeah,
I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. His apprenticeship had not been completed. Now Ozzy has been playing the game for decades. One season after Cirie started, he's still on the learner's permit. Ozzy, I think Ozzy's like my winner pick, by the way, but I still think,
I love him.
No, I definitely enjoy him a lot more when he has the Cirie bump, of course. He's like, you
Yeah.
know, I can climb the cases a little bit. But yeah, look, the scene, as I said, when she comes back from Exile, I have watched multiple times.
It's so good.
It's so good. She comes back and literally it says, Cirie's back. Yay! And then everyone's like, yay! Like everyone's cheering. It's like it's actually comical. It's actually like the everyone should be saying where's Poochie when Poochie's not on screen of Survivor. Like, it's so good. Then and they all have like identical confessionals. Christian's like, thank God Cirie's back. Ozzy's like, thank God Cirie's back. I've been hitting all these mailboxes. And then Aubrey's like, thank God Cirie's back. And then she's like also talking to Chrissy. Like she's so good across the aisle. Here's the thing with Cirie. Firstly, I said to Peter last week, I'm like, I think I'm underrating Cirie. He's like, I'm sure that's not true.
I think
and
so.
I'm like,
No, I think so. I think you have to give her more. I think so too. I think I agree.
I think she's better because the other thing about her, she makes it look too easy.
Uh-huh.
And then people don't recognize it. Like, because she's pendulum strategying across 3 different alliances. Like, she took out D, she took out in the Blood Moon, she took out the Honor and Integrity Alliance. She's now taken out Christian, not being targeted as the center of everything. Like, it's really hard to pendulum swing because you're voting out people, obviously, in an alliance. You have to go back and work with that alliance. And there are 2 ways until now to do that. One, badly. You know, you think about Woolwall, like, I'll just do that. You know, the thing that actually Rob says, invented. No, it's really hard to do that. Like, people have tried and failed because it's like a very high level of strategy. Then you talk about the people who are doing it well, like Rob as an example, like Tony did in Cagayan, and it's done very well, but it's really obvious. Like, this person is swinging back and forth. Like, Cirie isn't swinging. She's floating like a butterfly for real. Like, this is the fact that when you watch it on screen, I don't think people are even noticing what she's doing. It's so seamless and so intuitive and so subtle, so implicit that I think that if you need kind of explicit strategy explained to you, then like you might struggle to see it. That's how perfectly seamless it is. Like, is this her best game ever? That's such an interesting question. And the bar is in space. Like, obviously we're comparing this to like Micronesia, and that has like Flash, and we still have a few weeks left, obviously. Like, Micronesia to me, like, she pretty much won that season. Let's be quite honest. She made it to the final 3.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, let's see. She kind of won. And with Micronesia, like, obviously it has the Eric movement, it has the Ozzy movement, it has this Flash. This is so individual, and everyone is so much below her. I think, like, the next 2 people for me are like the Aussies and the Rizos, who she's like leading. So I think maybe it is her best game. Is it her best game of reality TV? Could we compare it to like a Traders, which was Traders like a perfect I don't know. Traders, like, I mean, no notes on this so far, and Traders is perfect. So that's a really tough question. But like, the fact that we've been having this conversation, like, this woman, she was born to play this game, and thank God she's played it so many times, because what a waste if she'd never found Survivor. We'd be, it'd be like having, I don't know.
Yeah, like you never get the Michael Jordan. You never get Messi. Yeah, exactly. You never get these people who are at the top. Exactly. No Beyonce ever exists. Exactly. You can't. Yes. And then it's like, how could we have missed that? How could we miss out on something like that? This is how she played Big Brother, though. It was like she was the power structure of the house. It was wherever Cirie is going, that's what we're doing. And she used to do that multiple times a day. And Big Brother is just such a long drag. I mean, Shannon, you even watched that season, and it was like, okay, what do Cirie and Izzy want to do today? What do Cirie, Izzy, and Jared want to do? Okay, well, this is where Cirie wants to go. Now, here are the people she wants to work with. Okay, here are the people she doesn't want to work with. Oh, wait, it's only Monday. She has to do this all the way to eviction night on Thursday, and then she has to do it again. And we saw this woman work and work and work. But to see it kind of happening in an accelerated pace on Survivor, it is very impressive. And I just, like I said, maybe this isn't her best game. I think it's too early to tell. But as far as best episode, you cannot tell me there is not a more Cirie-centric episode with such a positive outline as episode 8, Double the Fun, Double the Demise. Like, even the 3-2-1 vote is not a Cirie episode. That's Cirie's strategic, like masterstroke, but it wasn't the Cirie in a nutshell episode. This is the Cirie. If you want to show who Cirie is as a Survivor player, you show her this.
Well, I think we could get more. And this is why I'm saying, I don't think that Cirie is going to win. Like, I don't think she has a winner edit. I think that people confuse the winner edit. I don't know. It's hard for me because I'm trying not to get hurt. Like, obviously, like, I don't trust the show. So I don't trust that she's not going to get screwed over in some incredibly stupid way by some sort of advantage get-in that is sponsored by some sort of celebrity that is so irritating to me that I don't want to open my heart. But I'm like, I don't think this is a winner edit. I think Cirie is incredible. I think we should be seeing more of this. This is what I'm saying, is like, is it a winner edit just because everyone's like, thank God Cirie is here? Or is every person in confessional saying, thank God Cirie is here? That's the storyline. They got to show it. Like, she's incredible. She doesn't have that many confessionals, but my brother sent me the time confessionals today, and she has now the most, like the second most in the game, but there's like a few around that 10-minute mark. I mean, is someone dominating to win like this? Like, I would think would get even more, but we can talk about it the way they, I mean, actually, I didn't even think to talk about the edit of the women. We can still talk about that. Yeah, the way they might edit like a woman dominating compared to like a Boston Rob would probably be quite different. I don't think this is a winner edit. Like, I think this is Cirie's incredible. I think she's, about to be like screwed by a twist. It's so stupid. We can't even imagine what it is. Like, I'd hate to try and brainstorm it with you. We could never come up with it.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. No. Because Mr. Beast is showing up next this week, and we don't even know what the super beware advantage with the beast face on it is going to mean. I don't want to talk about that. But I would.
Mr. Beast has been against my will, by the way.
I've never sought out any information about Jimmy, and yet here we are, him in my life. That said, I think this edit is probably more akin to Sophie Clark and Winners at War. Like Sophie does not win, and she's not, but like there were definitely moments where I was like, is Sophie the greatest player of all time? I was like, is Sophie that girl? And of course, Sophie is, right? But we saw a very different side of her in South Pacific, right? A very specific, well thought out strategy that worked. She stuck to her plan, she executed it, she won. But seeing her in Winners at War exact so much control over the social dynamics of the group and just like being the epicenter of all the things that were going on, Tony had to get Sophie out of the mix in order to run the game. And it was a credible move, right? It was the best move of the season for sure.
It's up
one, it's up there, right? But it had to happen because Sophie was about to run this game like the Navy. And I think that Cirie is getting that similar edit. Like we cannot allow her to win because that would be not Cirie like. Like the lore of the idea of Cirie is like even bolstered by the idea that she just cannot win. But at the same time, it feels like we have to give this lady her flowers because look at the material. We have so much concrete evidence of the things that she's doing. This isn't just like the show freaking biting a bunch of people to saying nice things about Cirie. No, this is you cut to whoever and having people being like, no, I love her. No, I love her every time.
When they edit that out. Yeah,
you have to give us the content,
What's happening? Can't edit out those hard eyes. Like that's what it is.
You can't. That's just how we're walking around. And so I'm very happy that we got that much. But I have to ask you about your second case, Shannon.
Oh wait, but I have more on Cirie.
Oh, of course. Well, how can
I want to talk about?
Can we just do this?
Yeah,
can we just talk about Cirie?
There's a couple of things that irritate me, which is the tagline of this podcast, by the way. One, when people are like, well, they're just keeping her in because they know she can't win at the end. Firstly, or she can't get to the end. Firstly, she did get to the end.
She did get to the end.
Technically, like, she would have got to the end, like, multiple times. Like, even in Panama, she's pretty much at the end. Like, in Micronesia, she got to the final three. They all thought they were getting breakfast. I can't have this arranged. She got there, okay? The game changed. That's like, that's like if you're running 100-meter race, really short race, and then you get there, and then the finish line is accidentally 10 meters further. That's not the race she was running. She made it to the end. Secondly, it doesn't matter if she can't get to the end, quote unquote. She did though, but it doesn't matter because she's screwing you now. Like that's why, like this was like oh well, she can't. Even like with people like Rizo as an example or whatever. It's like they can't win at the end. I always think, or like Xander was a good one. It's like, well, he might screw you over because he's going to win challenges. Like Cirie and Jenna was right, by the way. Like justice for Jenna 2 months ago. Yes, because it doesn't matter if you feel like, well, I'll just take Cirie out at 5 or at 5 or whatever. We can talk about it.
That's not how this works.
I bet a lot of people regret it now because Christian, I mean, I don't know if he regrets it. I mean, he made mistakes, like obviously telling her about Ozzy, but like she outplayed him. She will outplay all of you. It's about being outplayed. It's like, even if someone else beats her, you might lose. If you end up on the wrong side of her, which Christian did like momentarily here due to his own mistake, she will outplay you. Like, why take the risk? So I can't take that like, well, we can beat her at the end. It's like, you might not get to the end because she's that good. Another thing I wanted to say about Cirie, it hurts my heart because I had a baby. Not that part. That was good. But I couldn't cover the season. So there's been no Chissy. And Cirie probably, almost definitely, would have won the Chissy. Should she win the Chissy? I think honorary Chissy winner.
I think you have to. I cannot sign it before we do it.
I can tell you I would have been giving her points. Like, should we be giving her the Chissy mug? Like, did she kind of win? Did she kind of win in the background?
she's getting points in a lot of episodes, right? Like, so there's no world where she doesn't get at least
week 3.
Yeah,
Blood
there's
Moon
no
3, because I thought like Blood Moon, like she's like the one person who's never gonna go even on the rock draw. That to me is 3. D-Vote, I don't know.
the
Honestly, I was
premiere.
pretty sleep deprived. The premiere I actually would have given 3 points to Kyle.
I would have given a point to Cirie. You know, I
would have given points in those early votes. I'm giving you. Yeah, we can talk about Kyle. I actually would have given that. What Kyle did in that premiere was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. But yeah, no, she's getting a lot of points. I think Cirie probably won the Chissy. Like, so we should send her a mug.
I wish it's in her mug. Yeah,
we should wait for the season to end. But then we should send her a mug. She won the Chissy
for sure. Yeah, she's like, hey, so from the Fields is to Mama Fields. I agree. I do want to talk about your second case.
Okay, because we can do that now.
Because I know that you and I were both emotionally invested in Cirie's success, as you should be. But I think you and I both pretty high on our emotional investment into Christian specifically.
Yes.
Right? I am a Christian fan, but I am a fan of Christian as a human and also a Survivor player second. You know, like that's almost second. So he comes in and I'm very happy to see him in this position. Christian is a one-time player. He was a legend to me as far as Survivor goes, right? Like he dominated that season as far as like screen time and confessional. Like he was such a big star in that season, but then at the same time, like he gave us so much. He's good in confessionals. He's good at challenges. He's good at the strategy. He's very social. I mean, like this is what you're looking for in a Survivor player. Like if you build one, you know, they used to say, like, oh, Kobe was like built in the Survivor factory because it was like the archetype for what you thought would do well in Survivor. This like charismatic, pretty man who can win challenges. And we learned so much, like so many seasons in that's actually not what you're looking for in Survivor. You're looking for somebody who can do a lot of things really well, right? Or do and the things that they can do, they like excel at them and exceed expectations. And Christian does that in so many different ways. I've been so much enjoying Christian at the very beginning of the season, and then we got kind of quieter around the merge, and I started to think, oh no, it's coming. And then once I was able to kind of look at the alliance structure, you know, how he's in the middle, even though it's really the bottom, I was like, oh, okay, it doesn't look great. Rick Devens has a fake idol. And I started to speculate. I was like, is this the week Christian goes? But Shannon, I cannot stress enough how I hated the way Christian goes home.
The season is bad and it should feel bad.
This episode was the worst episode of the season.
I hated it so much. I was not having fun at all.
This was not it. This was Rob and Ian getting killed out of the Traitors within the first 2 weeks of the show this season. Like that's how it felt. Like my heart, Shannon. So yeah, how was this from your perspective?
I mean, yeah, I did put me under the line of like, I think the season might be bad. Christian, I wanted him to make his own mistakes. If he goes, and in ways he did, because he goes to Cirie and tells her Ozzy, and he admitted that was obviously a huge mistake. Like he did it to himself, and I'm heartbroken to lose him. But he did it to himself, that's the agency we give people on Survivor. But and like voting against yourself is against the core tenets of Survivor. Like I'm against that anyway, but it was that they didn't let him bluff. Watching him come back and have to read a note and not have anywhere to move. Again, it was the same as the Blood Moon where I felt that they tied up these people with their hands behind their backs and just punched them in the face repeatedly. And I don't like seeing it happen, especially to Christian. Because my thing is like, if there's no journey, Christian seems like he was going if there's no journey. And we don't know. But, in terms, like, definitely they were, like, targeting that Nerd Alliance. So it didn't look great. And he seems like he could have been the target. Obviously, he does. It cements it when, like, he comes back and reads the note. But if he goes on the journey knowing he's in trouble, and what he should be afforded at the very least is the bluff. To come back and be like, I have nothing. And then they're like, I don't know. Do they want to split on what becomes him and Devens, knowing that they both could have something? Like, let them be scared or let them take the risk. Let him be outplayed on his bluff. But to not give him the opportunity, like, what are we doing? Like, the best and most interesting parts of these journeys are pretty much people coming back and lying or like there's so much agency. What should I do? What should I say? How will I pull it off? And then there's the agency back. Do people believe it? Do they read through it? This is what Survivor is. Coming back and lying and bluffing and making those decisions. And then the interplay and the push and pull of whether people buy it or whether people still take the risk or whether people don't care and they still put it on you or they can split on you or whatever it is. That's Survivor. Taking that from him, was painful. And I think if he can come back and bluff, I don't know that he does go home. You know, I don't know that they take that risk. I think maybe it is Emily. So that is the thing that really, really pained me about the twist. And then like losing Christian generally, like I love Christian. He absolutely came in as my second case and like no one's touching the first. And it was more than that in the season. Like he was even better than I thought he could be. And it's funny when you have these people who are like people you consider like friends in your life, or you know, and you like them as podcasters and as humans and as like members of this community. And then you see them on TV. It's like, oh, you're a TV character, and not only are you a TV character, you're like one of the best TV characters probably in this franchise. And that's why I fell in love with you to begin with. And I forgot that because I got to know you as a person. And for Christian, like, I think he had it all as a character. Like, again, some of those moments are my favorite moments of the whole season. I loved watching him tear it up with Rick Devens. I loved the personal stuff. I mean, this man went out when he had a 6-week-old baby, and I now have an 8-week-old baby. Like, the amount, like, 2 days before I gave birth, I watched him call Michael his due north, and that has stuck with me. And all of that has stuck with me. Him saying to Michael in this episode, you know, it's not like what you do when you fail. It's like what you do, you know, how you basically you handle that. Like, that's like my mantra of parenting, as like that spoke to me so much, because that is true. It's like I say that to Rory all the time. I'm like, I can't promise I won't make mistakes, but like I'll always promise to try my best and learn from my mistakes. Like I felt that so much from him, like those moments where you feel like you're failing. I feel like he had like the meaning. I feel like it was like he had the beautiful stuff, and he was also having so much fun. There was an episode where he like pooped his pants. Like what? Like, and then he was like there was so many things. It was better as a character than I ever could have imagined. It meant so much to me through this like very murky postpartum period, and I did not want to see it end at all, but I really didn't want to see it end like this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that while Cirie had one of the best episodes of all time for her, and like for me for Survivor, Christian had like the worst episode that he ever experienced, and it's not even close, right? Like this awful thing that happened, right? Like we watched the slow moving train wreck throughout the entire episode, and it's like it's coming for him. The monster was coming for Christian, and there was nothing we could do but sit there and watch it, just like the walls closing in. And every time you thought there might be a way he could get out, there was never a way, right? Like, so Jeff does this wager where it's not a wager at all. It's just like, okay,
thank you.
It's not a wager.
Thank you.
It's just
that
like
wasn't a bet. They weren't wagering anything. That was driving me crazy. I was like, did I miss something?
There was nothing there. It was just like, oh, do you want to do something fun? It was a reward
challenge. No, it was a reward challenge. It was a challenge, but it wasn't a bet.
It wasn't a bet. You didn't wager anything. They didn't wager anything. So like, okay,
I was so confused. I was like, if they take the bet, they don't get rice. But if they take the bet and they lose, they don't get rice. It's not a bet.
They don't get rice. There's nothing here. There's nothing here.
People on Twitter were like, no, but if they lose, they lose the rice. I'm like, but they weren't going to get the rice.
They're not going to get the rice. What's going on. There's no bet. There's no bet.
That really bothered me as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, like, yeah, that moment, you know, obviously, like, we could talk about the Jeff stuff, but I think for me, in that moment, I thought Christian, okay, he's good at endurance. This might be okay. All right, no, he doesn't win this. Okay, cool. Oh, wait, he wins rock, paper, scissors. Okay, he's getting a journey. Let's get him an idol. Let's get him an extra vote. Let's get him something we can work with, okay? Because we know they're probably going to try to split or something like that on him and Devens. We got to get Christian some extra. Oh, look. We get to the journey. It's a puzzle. Perfect. He loves puzzles. And then we cut to Christian saying, I like puzzles. I was like, yes, you do, you beautiful human. He's about to kill the puzzle because that's what he does. And then we watch him do the puzzle. And I'm like, wait, is he not going to complete the puzzle? And then my dreams of watching Christian go really far into this game, just like get thrown into the ocean, dragged down into the ocean floor like this damn puzzle. And I think, well, okay, he's already got a vote for himself. I think, okay, we don't know what this letter says, but he's probably going to lose his vote or something like that. I don't know, but it's going to be tough. We get back to camp and he has to the humiliation ritual of reading the damn disadvantage to everybody and finding out in front of everybody that he has a vote. He has to vote for himself. He doesn't have like a penalty vote, right? Like in Big Brother, sometimes they'll say like, if you break the rules, we'll put a vote. You'll already have one vote against you. That sounds fine. But to actually force me to physically write my name down so you can get the shot, was it worth it? Survivor, was it really worth it so you could say that you had somebody vote themselves out of the game, literally? Was all of this worth that one moment of Christian writing his name down? Because to me, Shannon, it was not.
Well,
it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't an interesting twist, I don't think.
Right.
Like in and of itself.
Even the advantage of what it would have been. Christian, you get to put a vote into the urn for somebody else early. If you win, I was like, why would I want to vote before I know where all the votes are going? What is that about?
Exactly. That actually could be bad. Like having to call your shot on a vote. And it was an extra vote, and then there was an extra thing that they didn't read out because he never won. That was like you could bank your vote. So then because that becomes your vote, you can then bank your vote, which I also think is pretty minor compared, like if that even is an advantage, that one aspect. I do agree, like putting in a vote before you've had a chance
like, who wants to do that?
That's an active disadvantage. Banking your vote, maybe a tiny advantage. I don't think it matters that much. Voting against yourself, you lose your vote and you have a vote. So that's like the double negative. And then being unable to bluff so that you're just like the world's easiest target is by far like the big, like it was completely unbalanced in terms of the disadvantage. I mean, I don't think it's a fun twist. I know that Jeff like loves Christian, or Hubicki, as he would call him. I hope that Jeff feels bad that he had 2 last namers go on these twists. Like as he snuffed Colby's torch and Colby was apparently doing well, I thought, I hope you're upset about this, Jeff. Like I hope you're as upset as I was during Advantage Get-In. But Jeff's saying this is one of the best seasons of all time. So I guess maybe it doesn't like matter to him. But yeah, I mean, this was like a really painful way to go because again, I really don't like seeing anyone, especially my favorites, have no room to move. Let them try and wriggle. And if they can't wriggle, then it's on them. And if they can, that's interesting to watch. But like, you can't give them nothing. But I think what's an interesting thing to like look back at Christian now that this is like his boot episode that we happen to be talking. Do we think, like, as a character, I think Christian cemented himself as like one of the greats, like really like one of the greats, like 2 seasons of that, especially those first few episodes. It's hard to like even think back and remember like how many moments, like he, in terms of like when he's talking to Emily, and like telling her to stop. So many fun things. As a player, how do you feel he played this season? Do you think that this was a good showing? Because I think there's been some debate about, because like as a player, how he was.
I mean, what are we looking at as far as like his, let's say his strategic ability, or let's start with the social, right? Christian comes in and he's pretty good. Like he's not in any danger at any point in the pre-merge. So socially, I think I could say he's probably fine. If not, above average, he's fine. He works his way into a alliance structure that suits him. He has a couple shooters. But strategically, yeah, maybe there were some mistakes made. I think that him kind of misreading the Ozzy situation and being like, let's blindside Ozzy. That'll be fine.
At least he worked out Ozzy was the middle. That was good. But then immediately he was bad. And he went to Cirie with that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you blindside Ozzy. That's not great. And the flip side of that is like you see Rizo episodes later being like, we cannot blindside Joe. He won't come back to us. It's like, yes, that's how Christian should have been looking at Ozzy. But it was a misread, right? But he's no longer like, he's not at that point like out of power, right? Christian is still able to maintain his position in the game. So I wouldn't say he played a bad game just off of the strength of positioning, alliances. But yeah, I have questions about some of the votes he did. I know he has his own reasons for the Mike and Angelina stuff. Maybe that's not great for him, but I don't know if you can say that's a net negative, voting out Mike White. What do you think?
I actually was never on board with the Mike White decision. I mean, obviously I'm not looking at the stuff as closely when I'm not podcasting, but I thought like, man, Emily is not a good ally, not on purpose. Like she clearly stayed loyal to him. Like it's not about that. This woman pretty much got devoted out. Like she brought in an ally from pre-game that she played the game with and accidentally got her voted out. Like it wasn't anything that she was doing on purpose to make her a bad ally, but I wouldn't want to work with her. Like it was like 15 strikes and you're out at a point. It's really hard to think about like what the landscape would look like if Mike White and Angelina are still in. It's like an incredibly different game. So do we know it would have gone better? I don't know. But at that time I felt like, yeah, cut Emily. What is she doing? And I understand he was like, we will be a real big target as David versus Goliath. And Christian is always playing against what's going to be like a big reputation and like his archetype that he just looks so intelligent and he can't hide that because he's like what people would draw in the dictionary if it was like draw like a smart nerd. Like they would draw Christian. So like he's always going to seem like too smart for his own good. He's always playing against that. But I was never on board with the Mike White decision. That was the best vote of the season though. That was like the one like really interesting. I thought like the 3-2-1, like the way he did it and the decision between Mike White and Emily, I thought was really interesting. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I agree with that decision, but I have to credit the fact that he was, you know, in positions of power to make these decisions, and like how much game he had to play because the new era is not created equal. I encourage everyone to just go to the Wikipedia page of the voting charts of this, and then like compare to the Australian Survivor season, and just look at the pre-merges, like the pre-merge of Australian Survivor. And even though there was like kind of a wonky, you know, in terms of people going to tribal council, even in that, there's so much game being played. And then you go to the US Survivor one and the 51, and it's just like blank spaces because people aren't voting. People are so few people are voting all the time. But Christian was voting. Like, he had to survive so much, and he did. He was making calls, which is rare. Like, that in itself is like he played a pretty good game. I think Christian, again, wants to innovate. He and Rick Devens are trying to have fun with this idol, but this is not a format that will enable you to do that because it is so limited. So was it a fantastic game? Like, I'm not going to say it was a bad game. He got outplayed by Cirie. Everyone is being outplayed by
Who among us?
Exactly. And what an honor. He made a key mistake. He, until then, had been Cirie's number 3. What an honor. So I think socially there's a lot there. I think that in the pre-merge and how much he had to survive, there's a lot there. I mean, he's probably been to more he probably in the pre-merge went to more tribal councils than some people still have now. I haven't done the math. So I'm not going to throw all of that out, like with like the bathwater of this vote. But yeah, so I think it was a good game with some key missteps and being outplayed by, like, you know, one of the best players of all time. Again, sounds underrated, but that's where we're yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad game. Like, I think that we're so far removed from bad gameplay for a lot of these people. You know, like, bad gameplay is the stuff we saw in, you know, the early seasons of Survivor, in the first 30 seasons, where people would be on the bottom of an alliance structure, and then against all logic, they would stay loyal to that alliance structure, right? Or like, oh yeah, I'm just willing to go down the ship. I'm loyal. All right. Like, hopefully this person chooses me. Christian was, he had agency. He had agency throughout the game to make decisions that he made. And from his point of view, they looked good. And it's not like, again, the Mike White decision, I think you can really, you know, like, really split hairs with that decision, because he knows Mike White as well. He's known Mike White for years. And he also knows that the first time they played together, Mike White wasn't going to let Christian sniff that money. And so, you know, it's not like it's a binary decision between woman I'm aligned with versus man I'm aligned with Emily and Mike. It's woman that I, you know, have grown to trust a lot. Whereas Mike, I've been proven that I cannot trust him in the game of Survivor in the past. And now I have to kind of reconcile with those wounds that I have and expect for Mike to do something that's against his best interest. Honestly, Mike White taking Christian to the end, to me, would be a mistake.
Yeah, but the end was so far away. Like, I actually thought he got a little bit caught up in, like, not really knowing, like, those relationships. He was on the White Lotus, so I know he has, like, an out-of-game relationship with Mike White. Had an out-of-game relationship with Mike White. Yeah, and I think he got a little bit like, Emily is my friend in the real world, but, like, Emily was a bad ally on Survivor, not on purpose. Whereas Mike White, I feel like he's like, Mike is he was looking too much at, like, what Mike had been to him in the game, but ironically, Mike has become a good friend to him in the world. Like, Mike White in David versus Goliath isn't necessarily going to be the same person he was to him on 50, because their relationship has grown since. I felt like he put too much stock in Emily's real life relationship with him, and not enough stock in what had become his real life relationship with Mike White, not knowing those relationships. But that's how I saw it. I didn't think Mike White was coming for Christian anytime soon. So yeah.
For me, I think you have to juxtapose that with Christian being like, I'm good with Mike and Angelina. And then you get the confessionals from Mike White being like, and now I'm about to manipulate Christian, right? And Mike White kind of showing a peek at the wolfy side of him to Christian. It did make the alarm bells go off. This wasn't Christian being like, oh, Mike White has shown me nothing but loyalty. He's always been on board with me. He's been on the level, blah, blah, blah. There's no reason for me to vote him out. It looks like he's like, we've turned a corner in our friendship, and as allies, we will go far in this game. He saw Mike White basically being like, hey, it's me, Mike White, the big bad wolf. And he's like, wait, what, huh? Where'd you come from? And then that's when he starts to look at Mike White as somebody he needs to get rid of. Obviously, the Angelina and Mike White and Christian alliance would put a big target on him. So, you know, to kind of minimize that, I can see that as well.
And there was the Ozzy connection, which by the way, I disagree that Ozzy was looking for a cameo on White Lotus. Like, Ozzy wanted like an Alex style role on White Lotus. Like that, like he was like
specifically the Alex role, right? Like in that very specific brand of
literally, I could kind of imagine him in that role.
In the Alec role, yeah. Like maybe if Alec was there, that other guy that was there, that could have been Ozzy in a different world.
I see it and I wish to unsee it, but it's true. Yeah, I mean, look, I that's what I'm saying. This was by far the most interesting, I thought, like other than everything Cirie's doing, which is fascinating strategically, this was like the most interesting like actual vote. Unfortunately, it came after 40 minutes of Zach Brown, but it actually was the best vote of the season. I see it both ways. Like I think it's like it's such a tough decision that I think you can't call either terrible, but it wasn't the way that I would have leaned. It's maybe like a 60-40, and I just thought like, Emily, please stop. Cut her now. That's how I felt at the time, even though she was loyal to him, but like at what cost? Again, it wasn't anything she was trying to do. So I kind of felt like I would have been interested to see him go down with the David versus Goliath crew. But again, that doesn't make for a bad game. I don't think anything until now makes for a bad game. And then you can look at like what he and Devon's did, and I thought that was really Devon's led with the Survivor South Africa style fake idol tribal. Well, not even Palessa. We had like a bunch of people like Shona and Seamus, both of them in the same season did hide a fake idol. I saw Devon's talked about this, I think, on Instagram, where he said that he had seen that season, but he'd forgotten that happened. So it like kind of like implicitly put it into his mind I think that he had done that. Look, they're just trying to have fun. I think that, you know, it was an interesting idea just to have it. You never have to use it. And that's what Christian was part of. You can't blame Christian for how it went with Rick Devons. And with Devons, like, he obviously created a target when I don't think he needed to, when he got out the idol. I actually liked his lies. Like, I thought that there was things that are interesting. What, and I haven't listened to enough content. I'm sure there's been talked about the death. What celebrity is he using for his fake idol? Like, they can't just be a fake idol. Like, is this the Adam Scott tribal idol?
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Is everyone talking about this? Because I'm too much of a casual this season. Because I
don't think anybody was like, your fake idol needs an identity.
Of course, it needs a thing. Everything has a thing, so we can't just have a tribal idol.
Does everything have a thing?
Megan Mullally tribal idol, yeah.
But it's like it's a Cirie's extra vote as gifted by Ozzy so graciously. Does it have? Is it like the Mayim Bialik extra vote?
What celebrity got cut out of being you just like a little extra vote? It's like you're kind of like a B celebrity, like a D celebrity.
It's like the Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, like this an extra vote, really? Am I not famous enough? Like
it's not famous enough. So not everybody has an identity.
How
that's a good point.
Famous you have to be that Zach Brown's so much more famous than you. I'm not a country music fan, but I looked it up at the time and I was like, how famous is Zach Brown? That's his name, right? Zach Brown?
Yes, Zach Brown.
Yeah. He has way fewer Instagram followers than Boston Rob. Like, I just think that if you're going to be a celebrity on the show, like, you should be, like, way more famous than Boston Rob.
You got to be more famous than all the players, right? Like, at least with the exception of Mike White, like, you have to at least be famous because you have to be a celebrity.
He's not more famous than Mike White. That really got to me, too. Got to me, too. When they were like
Mike White is a better celebrity ambassador than Zach Brown is.
100%. Zach Brown's like, I've always wanted to play. I'm like,
where's
your application? Mike White is right there. Like, Mike White is very, very famous. That's what I said. And I tweeted that. I don't know if people got it. I'm like, there's only one colored last name celebrity that I'm watching this for. It was Mike White. And Zach, I always wanted to do it. Why isn't Mike White just coming in for a reward? All my takes are so old, by the way. I haven't talked about this. Thank you for allowing me to give all the takes I've had all season. Yeah, there is no way that Zach Brown should just be able to do that. Apply for the show. We had like Jimmy Johnson, right?
Right. Jimmy Johnson. No,
we've had
massive celebrity.
Play. We've had celebrities play. So
let them play. Let them play.
Yeah, play.
Let them play.
Why do we just spearfishing as a reward? Sorry, I didn't expect to go on the tangent of Zach Brown.
No.
We're talking about the fake idol, right? Yeah. But he must have given it a name. He had to have given it a celebrity name.
I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to.
You have to.
I mean, now in retrospect, you have to. In retrospect, you do have to.
Especially because it was meant to be the innovative thing. An extra vote is an extra vote. Like, no celebrity came up with it. But it's like, you can imagine. No. Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman called Jeff and said, we want to hire something at Tribal. Jeff said, I don't want to hire them at Tribal. I've said before, I don't want to hire a Tribal. They said, Jeff, please. He said, okay, Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally, I can't say no to you. It's a Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally Tribal idol. Because it's a new and innovative thing. Of course you have to give it a celebrity name. I actually really need to hear what the celebrity name was. Because if they didn't give it a celebrity name, that's like a real tell.
I'm telling you, the extra vote didn't get a celebrity name. Like the
extra vote's not new. That's not a new twist.
Okay, I guess. So would Christians like earn vote be the Jimmy Fallon earn vote?
It was.
Yeah, like specifically branded as that, the Jimmy Fallon earn vote.
Yeah. I mean, he's taking a lot of heat for something he clearly did not come up with.
No. He deserves that. Celebrities, stop calling Survivor and trying to push your image onto the show. Tyler Perry did it.
Yeah, Tyler Perry did do it. I don't think Jimmy Fallon did it. I believe that as much as I believe about the fan votes. 63%. By the way, I was never
you
allowed to
voted for
vote.
this.
I
Yeah,
didn't
you
actually.
voted for this.
They never let me vote in Australia.
You voted
and
for this.
also, it's fine. Those results, you know what those results were going as they were coming through, just like right into like a shredder and the trash.
Right, because who gives a damn? They're gonna do what they want to do.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
I
think that they gave it a celebrity name. I really want to know.
I don't think so.
They had to. But before your question, and remember it, keep the question in mind. Do you blame Kristen at all for what happened with Rick Devens and like the target that is on Rick, like that put that all on their back with what happened?
No, I don't blame Kristen at all.
You blame
for this.
Rick Devens?
I think the target was always going to be on them. Like I think prior to knowing, like they were next on the hit list.
Yeah, exactly. We're swinging, right? We're swinging.
Right. Like we all saw it coming.
We
all saw it coming.
But the thing as well with I don't know how much they believe this idol because they didn't flush the idol. Like they secondary split on Devens with the quote unquote idol. Like if they were really worried about the idol, you'd think that they would be like, all right, we'll play it or go home. But they didn't. So I don't even know how much they believe it. But if they do, I guess he's bought himself some implicit immunity. But again, they could have split, so it's not even implicit immunity.
I think he bought himself a little wiggle room.
You know why they don't believe it?
Why?
Because it doesn't have a celebrity name.
It doesn't have a celebrity name. Okay, you're making points. I do think there's too many. It's too ambiguous, right? Like I don't think anybody has a knows for sure. I mean, except Emily Flippin, who Devens told, who has not kept one secret throughout the entire season. But
vote her out.
Vote her out. No, so he told her, but aside from her,
the crazy thing is that D was scuppered by Emily. Like it wasn't even like she's like, oh, and I told Jonathan, but like that was like a side point to the fact that Emily had already. What is she doing? I love Emily. She's high up on the board, but like, what is she doing?
Who among this cast has subverted your expectations in a good way? And not the people who are gone. I don't want to hear that Colby did way better than you expected. Okay, we've been through that. I'm talking about of the people left. Who are you most impressed with? Not named Cirie.
Firstly, it's both ways. Like I feel like Emily has been episode 1 of 45 Emily. Yeah. Like she spent that whole season being like, I'm more than that person and like building herself up. And now she's just like broken herself right down.
She wanted to do that. She said in the preseason, she said, I didn't like the edit that I got. This like kind of like, oh, I'm brash and I got and my personality is a little bit like front facing and people don't love me too much, but I had to like minimize myself and make myself small in order to be a good Survivor player. And that's not what I want to put out into the world. She's like, I can just be me and still do well in this game. And I'm like, okay, interesting thesis. Let's see what happens here. And
she does it so earnestly too. She's just like asking questions and being just Emily, what is happening? Like
so Emily has been your standout surprise.
No, well, I don't even know if I've Mandela affected Christian's confessional about Emily when she was giving information to Ozzy, but I do kind of feel like in my head I'm always like, Emily, why? And that's like a new kind of like go-to quote that I have. Which was really, really fun. I feel like the Emily Ozzy stuff, like he mentioned it, which was good, but like a lot of these stories don't end up panning out. Or I guess we still have Emily and Ozzy there, but like it's kind of just like it was so weird. It was like she was fully against him and then she was fully with him, and now she's like against him. So that's like a bit of maybe just a tough story to tell me. That's just that relationship. I do feel like a lot of these relationships kind of end up being like the storytelling, which has been largely very good because the characters are great, like is then ruined by the like where it goes from a twist perspective. Like the Genevieve Aubrey thing was like such a huge storyline, and then it was just like, oh, they get into this like unfortunate like swap. It wasn't like so earned, and I think there's a few examples of that. But in terms of like what you actually asked of the players who've surprised me for good and bad, maybe. Sure. Well, you said what only people who are still in the game, or
only people left, because I want to kind of know what we're leading to as far as like are these people's legacies. I think a lot of people who went out of the game, we get it.
Well, I have a couple. I have a couple for people who left. Kyle,
go for it.
As I said, 3 Chissy points in that premiere that he got Medivac from. So upsetting. Kyle has personally tried, and I take it very personally, to prove me wrong for the way that I analyze 48 at every turn. And boy, has he, and like, I didn't get it while I was watching it as much, that how sparkly he is. My God. Like,
he's a sparkly guy.
Not only did he win the season when I didn't think he would win, then he came back on the season, and he was a late draft pick that I got. I was like, he's never going to win. He's never going to do well because he won last week. As we drafted it and they went out to Fiji, he had won the week before. He was DOA. And he gets there, and he isn't just like accepted. Like, he was their king. It was kind of weird, the Kyle cult that they had. Like, they were all so, like, he left and they're like, I love you so much, Kyle. And even later, like, Rizzo lies to Camilla being like, Kyle's like an older brother to me, and he told me to work with you. And she's like, that could not be true because he was there for 2 days. It was like, he was using it. Yeah, no, all of them were like, I would die for Kyle. I would freaking die for Kyle. I was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Like, it genuinely was I'm like, he's one of the greatest players of all time. Even in the next episode, genuinely, like, even in, I just did the New Era rankings. Like, he's of winners, he's higher up. He's so good. Like, the next episode, they're all just like, and it was a sad way to go out, but it wasn't just that he was their king. He was leading them. Like, it was weird, and all of them across alliance lines. Genuinely, so I'm glad that 2 months later I've had the chance to say this, because I wanted to go on the record to say, Kyle, stop proving me wrong. It's annoying and it makes me look bad. Who else? Look, I think I would, if I have a winner pick right now, it's Ozzy.
Which is actually crazy.
I think Ozzy's gonna have a Mateo type thing. I know Mateo didn't win.
I was like, do you remember Mateo?
But it is. It's like the Frankenstein's monster apprentice style. Like, Ozzy, hasn't got his proper license yet to strategize, but he's gonna get it enough to cut Cirie.
He go put himself in fire against Cirie.
He doesn't need to, bro. Well, I mean, actually, to be fair, I actually think like Cirie has aligned herself with Rizo, who is like notoriously like really bad at challenges and fire. Yeah, much worse than her. And probably
she made a fire in AU versus the world. I know the people on this feed. I know people on this feed. No, the rest of these people who didn't watch. Yeah, the rest of the people who didn't watch AUV World, they're like, Cirie can't win. She can't make a fire.
She did lose 2 fire challenges on that season. Like,
but she made the fire is the point. Like, we saw the fire get made. It used to be, can she make a fire? Now it's no. I have seen her make the fire. Now, can she do it faster than this young lad? I think Ozzy has to put himself in fire against Cirie to take her out. I think that's the best bet here for Ozzy. I don't know, man. I think it's so funny though how far we've come in Survivor history where Ozzy looks like a legitimate winner pick.
He is my winner pick currently. I mean, look, people ask, how can Cirie get to the end? Is she going to win the challenge? Like, probably not. I mean, she won touchy subjects. People forget, but I don't think they're going to do touchy subjects as the final 4 challenge. Maybe I would have voted for that.
Yeah,
if I could. If I got a VPN, I could have, but it wouldn't have mattered. It would have gone right in the shredder. Yeah, I mean, she could win fire. She could beat Rizo in fire, and she could get taken because she did. She made it to the end. People forget she was in Final Tribal Council. So Ozzy could win. I mean, who else has really surprised me? I mean, Rizo. Rizzo's fun. Like, I have fun with Rizo.
I love him.
I'm a sucker for the archetype that I would be, which is like this like super fan. Who feels like they've won a contest, like the Adam Klein at Winners at War superfan who's there like quoting things. It's pretty self-identifying. And he had so much reverence. Like, I love the way that firstly everyone who just like immediately sees Rizo like thinks he's an idiot. Like, we all did when we heard RIZGOD, Riz God Baby. And then like in the first episode of 49, I was like, all right, like I got it. And it takes that one conversation for people to get it. And like Colby came around and everyone came around on Rizo. It's really fun, of course, that he's working with Cirie, but I also just really love that reverence type superfan player. It was funny because everyone's making fun of when he told Coach that he changed his life, and then Emily made the face. I teared up at that. I teared up when he said that.
At the face? The Emily made?
I teared up with Rizo saying that. I thought it was meaningful and emotional. It really got me.
Coach has that effect on people. Like that's the weird thing about it is that I can't even say it's tongue in cheek because to me it definitely feels like some shit I would say that like I don't really mean, like, oh yeah, you changed my life, you're an icon. Like, yeah, Coach is an icon. He did not change my life, but that's a through line throughout Coach's seasons. Even Steven Fishback, JT, they spoke very highly of Coach. They weren't even working with him directly. Obviously they were aligned with Coach as everybody else was aligned with them, but they took him out so early in the game. But we saw like when Coach comes back from the martyr approach or whatever, Steven is like, oh my God, Coach, are you okay? It's like, yeah, he's fine. It's Coach, and so for Rizo to say that he affected him on that level, I was not surprised. I totally agree with you though. I love Rizo. I think that for me, I always root for the superfan. I always do. Always, because I am that. I am a super fan too, right? I probably don't look the archetype, but I definitely got that same vibe to where you put me around these people, huh?
No, you podcast about Survivor. Like no one's here denying that you're a super fan.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that like I don't necessarily see myself in Rizzo. Yeah, exactly.
I've always said you're too cool for this podcast, and you shouldn't really be hanging out.
But you know, when I started podcasting, I did feel like the Make-A-Wish kid. I felt like, oh my God, how did I end up here with all the people that I listen to on the podcast? This is crazy. And they keep allowing me to say things and no one's told me to shut up. This is wild.
I was there your first audition.
And I was like, even then, like, are y'all crazy? Like, this is crazy.
I said, don't hire this man. And no one listened to
me. Dude, listen, I was like, I'm coming in for blood. And like, because I thought I was on borrowed time.
You were fighting with Bryce?
I mean, yeah, who among us? Yeah, it was. Yes.
I think you came in saying like I have bones to pick, and then you were just like yelling at us, and I was like, "This man needs to be on the podcast. We can tear it up."
Right. But in my mind, I was like, "Well, that was fun. They'll never call me back." And so I definitely understand the idea of like I am such a big fan of these people that like I wouldn't know how to act, but to see him assimilate and then not only assimilate but become one of the power players. The relationship between him and Coach is interesting, but when you see stuff like Coach being pulled to the side by Rizo and being told, we don't win Survivor at Tribal Council. We don't slay dragons at Tribal Council. We slay them at camp or whatever. Yeah, exactly. It was Tyson all over again. And this is Rizo, a man he's never seen play Survivor. They think Rizzo's 16. And he's like, Coach, what have we learned? How do we play the game? I was like, how do you not love this man who's a fan? Like, Shannon, these are the conversations you would be like. You always talk about how you couldn't work for the production because you would be like, no, this is dumb. This twist is dumb. You would be telling them, no, I'm not doing this. Like, if you were a Survivor player, you'd be like, no, none of this makes sense.
Moves for the sake of it.
Don't make big moves, right? This is the type of advice you give to people when you've seen them play the game and you kind of know the back of the baseball card. You know who they are. Rizzo is now giving Coach that advice. It's so fun. If you don't think this is fun, I'm sorry, you're not watching it the same way I am.
Yeah, no, Rizzo's been good value. I mean, what a crazy couple of months of his life. Like,
yeah,
this is the thing in Judaism, Daye, like it would be enough. Like if he just played 49, like Daye, if he made it to the end, Daye, then he gets cast on 50, then he's in a relationship with Cirie. He's in a throuple with Cirie and Ozzy. Like this is Cirie and Ozzy. Like, like these are people who played like probably when he was a very small child.
Yeah, this is a Mad Lib. These are just random words and phrases put together.
If you were to tell him in like, I don't know, like before, when did he get cast on 49? Like before he's even been cast on 49, it's like within 6 months, you will be in a throuple on Survivor in a landmark returning season with Cirie and Ozzy. No one could believe that. No, like that genuinely sounds like winning the lottery. Like,
right.
It's crazy. Right. He's playing well. Like in terms of like Cirie's apprentices, like why is he doing better than Ozzy? Ozzy, you've been playing this game for 20 years.
Right. And then the question is he better than Ozzy, right? Like, is there any world where
no
these
one's
people
gonna vote for Rizo to win
will vote for Rizo? And why do you think that is? What's your opinion about his win
16,
equity?
I think because he's 16. It's really hard for people to do that. That's why I'm so high on like the Matt Haywoods of the world or Marianne even. It's really hard to respect these like young people, especially because it is actually a lot of older parents who do enjoy Rizo seemingly. But I just think it's hard to give, it does happen. We get these young winners, but I think you're up against it in terms of like respect from the jury. I just think he seemed a little bit more unserious. Although the way that they specifically looked at Rizo in 49 with more of his like showmanship that he hasn't had as much of here, that doesn't seem to be here on the season. So I don't think that he's even earning any of that. I just think it's a really tough archetype. But yeah, I mean, I guess if he's against like a Joe and a Jonathan.
Yes. Yes. I don't know where y'all, I feel like people have overinflated Jonathan's game at this point. What is your opinion about Jonathan right now?
Fine.
That's where I am too. And I've been getting the sense that people are like, no, he's playing a really good game. I was like, I don't think so.
Why?
I think I don't think so.
We get a lot of Jonathan.
We get a lot of Jonathan.
We get a lot of him explaining what he's doing. It's kind of like the opposite of Cirie. Like Cirie just kind of like, we're seeing some of it. Yeah. And like, they probably have a similar amount of confessionals. And like Jonathan, I feel like we're getting like all of it and then some. Like even the shot in the dark thing, like he took the shot in the dark. Christian couldn't even vote. And then he gave it back. It's like, are you giving Jonathan Chissy points for this episode? Like, not me. Like, I'm giving the middle of Chissy points every episode. Cirie, Rizo, Ozzy.
Yeah.
What is Jonathan doing? Like he was at the bottom of an alliance that is again being outplayed by Cirie. They lost their members. If he had been with Coach or Chissy had been with Jonathan, they probably like if they were the true honor and integrity pair, which we can talk about side Destinies, he's going home. Like no one has that much agency other than the Wizard of Oz. So
yeah. I'm not a fan of so far, but the game, I think we're getting a lot more nuance to his character than we did the first time. I think he was very much like, the challenge guy, right? And I think like now we're getting a lot more of like his strategic takes and this, that, and other. I think it's fine. Like he's not in a great spot, and I don't think this is a winning game. But so I think so like Rizo could beat somebody like that for sure. I think the thing with the superfan archetype.
The banker is cold, Chappell. Will you take a Rizzo victory?
Absolutely. A Rizo, yeah. It's not the biggest box, but at that point, the other boxes got to be like, come on. What are even the other boxes that we're looking at the Rizzo win as a real option?
There. But then you have to sell your Cirie box, obviously. That's the issue.
Listen, I'm clinging to that box for dear life.
All in,
all in. But yeah, I think that for this particular archetype of human, like if you are the young super fan, I think that you have to sit next to people who play demonstrably bad games or that they've shown some like level of incompetence. So you'll see like Todd Herzog, right? Like I don't think Amanda played a bad game, but like the competence was really leaning on like, okay, this is Todd. Todd has been running things. He's like the clear mastermind of that. His second place goes to Courtney there, not to say that Courtney didn't play a good game, but like look at his competition there, right? He got Courtney and Amanda at the end. That's how he wins that game. I think Adam Klein is sitting next to Hannah and what's this man's name? The guy. Ken. Yes, he's sitting there, Hannah and Ken, and then they're like demonstrating how socially they have not been able to ingratiate themselves, and he's like the clear favorite with that, right? I don't think people go in
Rizzo
looking
comes
to
across
vote.
as even younger than these people, and he's not younger than Todd was. Like Rizzo is older, but like Rizzo actually does come across like he is like
he's younger, right?
Because he's so much the newbie as well. Like they literally, it even exaggerates it more. He has a very young energy. I think we've always said about Rizzo.
I think Marianne is probably the best example for something that he would have to like exude to win the game, right? It's not only am I sitting next to people who might not necessarily have the strongest game already, but they also aren't as socially ingrained in the tribe as I am, and they are not able to articulate themselves as well as I am. So if you put Rizzo next to Joe and Jonathan, and both of them are like, well, I won 3 challenges to get here, cool. But if Rizzo's like, okay, I didn't win any challenges, but I had to get out Cirie, and she was my number 1. And then I had to figure out a way to get out Ozzy, and then so I made the decision to sit next to you two because I knew that you would take out Ozzy in fire, and I was never going to beat him in fire. Like if you could go in and articulate yourself, I do think there are people who would vote for Rizzo. And I think that it would still be a very fun season for our flagship season 50 here. This big moment in Survivor history to go to like our recent new era standout, and he can kind of be like the face of the new era going forward.
Yeah, that would probably like teach the wrong lessons. Because I think Jeff would be like the new era. Like it would be. I also find it so funny. It's like old school versus new school, but like the old school alliance at this point is like 2/3 like Joe and Jonathan.
Yeah.
And the new school, at least game style, is like completely led by Cirie, who is like the godmother of the new school, but she started playing a long time ago. You know what this is as well? It's just beach and shelter people. We've been saying this since Cambodia. Like that's always what I
But is it because who is really a shelter person in the new era? Apparently that's not a thing they do.
No, but like in this season, like Stephanie and Coach and Chissy and Joe and Jonathan, like the shelter, like this was the shelter people.
The integrity folks. They were always going to be building the shelter.
The shelter people. Yeah, always what we've. I mean, that is a dichotomy as old as time. That's a dichotomy like back to when like Rob was like the young new era type super fan in season 6. Like I mean, I definitely think like. There are scales, and the scales have shifted over time, but it's been like obviously a really big theme of this season. Okay. Do you have more on that?
No, keep going.
Okay. There are a few things I wanted to talk about just in like looking at the whole season. Do you want to talk about the edit? Because there was obviously that debate about women in the edit, and I never
was it a debate? Was it a debate? Because I'm pretty sure we were all. I mean,
people debate in the comments. But you think you think what happened is that they were like, women are getting edited badly on the show, and everyone was just like, yeah.
No, I mean, like, I think it's pretty clear that women are being under edited. I think the people started to argue that like maybe it was somehow warranted, and I'm thinking,
yeah, that one's a hard one,
right?
because
Then, because then you say like, what are they doing that would need more editing time? Are they a big character? Would you need to show them? Were they doing anything that stands out?
And that's always hard, because then it's like, are you saying women are just like less entertaining than men? Because like questions abound, and
right.
or are women cast worse than men? In some ways, in this season, like they did do the kind of like almost homogenous, like big, like gregarious man archetype, and they're going to get more screen time compared to some of the women. And but then maybe that's an issue in casting. But I do think like it clearly is an issue. I mean, obviously, like the history of editing on the show is like deplorable. So the show earns no goodwill. But I think you can see like it's not even just in terms of like, are they just casting more brash men? And they can just tell those stories easier. Like again, to a degree, but then you also look at like a similar like level of character, and the women lost out in the edit every time. Like Cirie has an episode where she gets 0 confessionals. Coach, who's also a legend, who like, let's put them in the same category of like great screen time, big legendary characters. Like let's just put them. Coach would never get 0 confessionals, I don't think. Like, and then you look at like Q and Angelina, 2 people I hugely enjoy, was devastated to lose both. Angelina got like nothing. Q got to like show his character in the short time we had with him. And like, thank God for that. I wish we got more of Angelina. You look at like Jonathan, who I think is like not the best narrator, and try to put in like, I actually think Tiffany's been really fun, but say Tiffany is like one of the more, like Tiffany and Jonathan are both more of like the questionable decisions from a casting perspective. Like Jonathan, Tiffany's made it up a bit now, but like has gotten, I think, a lot more. Definitely at the time of this debate was having, you know, a lot more. I think that if you were to like categorize, like put everyone into tiers of like men and women of the same category of like quality of casting, women were often like 2 tiers down in confessionals. And then, but then I think the thing that's sad about it is like, if it's one season where that's true, and it's like, okay, well, maybe like Christian is just bringing that much good TV, and I did want to see as much of Christian as we got. I loved it. You know, maybe like Devon's is doing a lot and Coach is doing a lot, and like this is just one of those seasons. You're like, all right, well, that happens from time to time. Like sometimes there'll be, you know, a lot of seasons where women do better, and I know like 49 was probably like the one season where that was true. But unfortunately, like the history of the show doesn't afford that grace. That this is like one season where men just kind of like were taking the reins. Because again, I think some of it isn't earned. I think like someone like Cirie could even have more. I think there are players who we could have seen like even like D have, like there were a lot of times where Angelina was the big one, like questions actually should have been asked about the people on the season. And even if that weren't true, how can it be true of every season with the history being as terrible as it is? I shouldn't write notes on this, and my thoughts of it obviously months old, but that's just what I was thinking at the time, where it's like, it's so clear because the history is like so terrible. And it matters so much because it matters how we tell these stories, because, you know, we only see as much as like they give us. And if they give us less, like, of course, people question that more. People need like their hand held often in the show, or like we need to see what people are doing. Obviously, like it's not even a negative thing. It's just true. So,
and it's such a disservice to these people and their legacies to bring them back and then not show them, because then when we talk about them as characters, as players, we're like, and then they didn't really do anything in the second season. You know, like even if we look at Aubrey in Game Changers, she made it pretty far in that season. Doesn't she make it to the finale of that season? Yeah. Something like that. And
Ty was 4th, 5th. Yeah, she was.
Yeah. So, but Aubrey's game, you're like, oh, she was kind of like, she was there, you know, like we don't get as much Aubrey as we would have like, as that could describe her gameplay in that season, despite her going to the final 5, right? There's not a lot to say about it. And it's not a mark on her game. It's a mark on what you show from her game, right? And it's the editor's responsibility to tell a cohesive story. Jeff likes to say there is no winner edit. I push back against that completely, but whatever he says goes. I guess it's his show. But I would definitely say that there are definitely seasons where you can watch and just tell by the amount of screen time and amount of confessionals you get that you are looking at somebody who the show wants to highlight. And normally, if they're spending that much time with a character, it's the winner, you know, or somebody who comes really close to winning. And so if you come close to winning, I'm expecting you to get maybe like a comparable amount of screen time, you know, but you're like dominating the confessionals to go out pre-merge, and then there'll be people who make it deep into the merge, or at least to this point of the game where you seem very little of, but they outlasted you. It's hard to reconcile. And so I totally get that. I think in season 48, it was the Say show, right? At the pre-merge, which is like, it was all Say everything, right? And so we get to the end and we're like, well, it went from being the Say show to the Joe show. And so it's got to be Joe. That was pretty much the analysis, because that's all we were showing. You were seeing everything Joe did. It was all in a positive light for a very long time. And so we look at everybody and be like, well, there's no possible way they could win the game because they're not showing the things that they're doing to win the game. Obviously, Kyle has like a late surge, but for a lot of that season, it was just the editing was very unbalanced when it came to a lot of characters. And so this is just, to me, very sad because you clamor to have some of these people play again. I love a returning player season. But damn, don't bring them back and then not show them. That's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the thing that's hard is that I think that the detractors of this, like that there's an imbalance in gender in the edit, would say like, well, it's not wrong for these people to get content. And I think that is true. Like, I'm not saying it's like every single time, like that it's just like men getting confessionals is bad. Again, I'm saying a lot of that is earned. In fact, some of the stuff that people are saying like, oh, well, like, why was Colby the last one in the Blood Moon? Like, they're making a TV show. That Tribal Council was some of the only good stuff they had in that episode. And Colby is the biggest legend here. Like, he should get his flowers. And even like Coach versus Chrissy.
But like, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about the Coach versus Chrissy though, and that one's kind of weird to me. Like,
I don't think so because I apologies to Chrissy, but like Coach is Coach. It's not saying anything about Chrissy, but like Coach is Coach. He's one of the biggest characters of the season. He's one of the biggest characters in Survivor history. They're going to focus on Coach. He's going to be the main event.
Right, but should he outplace her?
Oh no, I mean that's stupid. No one should outplace anyone.
I'm
very worried about how this is going to affect Survivordle, by the way, which is like my life. I wait all day for Survivordle to roll over to the next day. It's really.
I think canonically she was 11th voted out.
No,
that's what Jeff said.
They just tied.
That's not what Jeff. That's not.
Well, that's actually not a gender problem. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Generally, in terms of like who gets the moment of their torch snuff last, like Coach is Coach. Like he should get that. And it's not for me. Like if it was Coach Cirie, we change. You know what I mean?
Right. The order
Jonathan,
changes.
If it's Chrissy, Jonathan, even like
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, if she's the 11th person,
they tied.
They didn't say you tied. No one said tied.
I mean, no. All of this is so like even the Blood Moon people. They should all just be tied. 15.
That's not how this works.
Well, that's so dumb.
We've had plenty of double boot episodes where that is not the case, right? The grenade is the grenade. None of that should
be true. But that was bad then. That was stupid then. These people tied.
Here we are.
Or if it's based on meaning, like order you dropped in the challenge, fair. Legitimate, differentiated in some way. If it's not, and it's just TV order, I mean, Coach and Chrissy were a literal pair. So like obviously they tied. Yes, they tied. Destiny.
Well, they should have tied, but when we go to snuff their torch, one of them is the 11th person voted out, and the next one is the 12th person voted out.
Well,
and the next member of our jury.
That's just the stupidest thing I've ever. I don't know what to do with that. This is the stupidest thing I've ever.
And
is that what's going to affect Survivordle? Was that what's happening with Survivordle then? Is that how you pronounce Survivordle? I've never spoken it.
I don't play that. I don't play it.
Why not? It's so fun.
I don't do. You know I'm about games. You know I don't like the games.
Chappell, I can tell that you're not someone who's feeding a baby for 10 hours a day because
you can tell.
You can tell.
That's the patriarchy.
Because I literally wait for my puzzles to roll over and I get my Minute Cryptic and I get connections and I get Wordle and now I have Survivordle and I wait for 2 p.m. which is when it rolls over and then I do my Survivordle and I'm really it's a great game. Anyway, what we said, but the edit. Anyway, my point with the edit is like
there's enough in the edit. Yeah.
It's not inherently bad when men get confessionals, but if you see a man compared to a woman who are the same caliber of character in some way that can be compared and women are always losing, something is wrong and it's been wrong through history. Anyway, enough on that. Should we talk about more of these twists? We mentioned Tied Destinies a little bit. They took that from Survivor South Africa.
Well, did you like it on Survivor South Africa?
No, I mean, I was in production on Survivor South Africa for that season and LaRue took it from French Survivor actually. And we said, don't do that. And he was like, I want to. And we're like, okay, well, I don't know. We're just consultants. We're saying no. I always think Tied Destinies is like just fine. Like for me, firstly, it would be so interesting. And on Survivor South Africa, they picked rocks. In this, obviously, they chose what they assumed was like a 48-start challenge. If they were choosing for actual Tied Destinies, there would be so much agency here. Like we could do a 3-hour podcast on just how people make that decision. It's like the layers of decision making to choose a partner that you will have a Tied Destiny. What do they call it? Double duos. Tied Destinies duos. With? Yeah, silly. There's analysis there, but they didn't choose it, so like that kind of decision lacked meaning. But for me, kind of like, firstly, every vote is a 6-person vote on this freaking show. You can't. Even the 13 people vote are 6-person.
Was a 6-person vote. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think It kind of just necessitates for me, like, it doesn't draw these binary lines. Like, it often necessitates a bit of a compromise vote, like, who can we kind of part with? But this vote just was thankfully just happened to have meaning because they ended up having like a full nerd pair and a full integrity pair. And so Rhea could make that decision. And like, maybe if the integrity pair is a little bit lower stakes, like a Stephanie and a Jonathan, like maybe she takes the hit at the nerds first. Maybe they're just like juicier nerd targets because she is swinging. But like mostly I feel like if she was like, no, we're doing integrity today, like she got her integrity pair. And it actually allowed these lines to be drawn a little bit because we happen to have pairs of both and they were just getting hit of two people instead of one. But I do think like most of the time it ends up being like a bit of just like what we can agree on. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
Exactly. It was fine.
Yeah,
exactly.
it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, oh my God, is this the thing that's going to screw Cirie over? No, she actually got individual immunity. Yeah, she actually got individual immunity for that too. So I'm fine with that. Yeah, no, I watched it and I was like, oh no, this is interesting. It was fun, but it wasn't like nothing that I thought was crazy. We probably never see it again, right? Because this is the only time that we have such a huge cast at this point. So you know, go Survivor for doing something that didn't destroy the show for me, you know, like I think the Blood Moon was really just like a nothing burger. This at least was an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's more just like, please stop with the twist.
Yeah,
I liked how they showed Christian saying, I don't think they like the fans voted for that specifically.
Right.
It's all going in the shredder, Christian. There's no records on what we quote unquote voted for.
I need to see
like,
the
I'm
numbers.
sure
I would like to see
emails.
that data. Yeah,
exactly,
as Chaos Cast would say, you know, I would like to see that data.
Yeah, I'm sure like you're in some sort of record. Did you have to enter your email address to vote?
I don't remember. Okay. I don't know if I thought I might have opted out of the vote to just be like, you know what? Because I didn't want to be blamed. I didn't want to be blamed. You know, I was like, an extension is not to say that you are now above being blamed, because I am being blamed as the fans. Because had I voted, maybe we wouldn't have some of this wacky shit going on.
It really irks me how they're like, well, we're screwing you over now, but it's the fans' fault. It's like, I mean, why do you take pleasure in this?
Even the way they painted it, right? It's like, do you want a dynamic season of Survivor with twists and turns and fun gameplay?
Sure. No,
or do you want
dynamic strategy?
Right. Or do you want classic pagongings? It's like, okay, I vote for the twist.
I don't. I want classic Survivor.
I don't want classic. No, you don't.
Currently.
Yeah, but we don't know, because even that's not classic. You know, that's got twists and turns. You know, this was like they basically were like, do you want you know, the new era, or do you want or do you want Borneo?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I choose classic, but I didn't.
I'm picking Borneo. Yeah, I'm picking Borneo. Yeah. Do you want idols? Do you want like advantages as well? Or do you want no idols and no advantages and boring gameplay, Shannon? I mean, the votes were made for us.
Man, the gameplay has been limited with this dynamic, quote unquote, dynamic format that we have. Speaking of idols, Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, obviously we're 2 months in on that. They clearly did it because they loved everyone going home with the idol in 46. So they're trying to like manufacture that magic, which I think is like sometimes that happens with, I mean, it happens often in when you're producing. I think that you're like, that was great. How can we try and like create that? Then people will be trying to vote someone out without idols.
Wait, what? Yeah? So you think they like the Billie Eilish idol because it'll incentivize people to get voted out with the idol because it's putting a target on their back?
Yeah, because then it should incentivize people to vote people out with idols, and they saw in 46 people kept going home with idols, and that was such a great organic moment. They thought like, how can we create that again?
In a weird way, I think that could be interesting if it ever happened like that. But instead, Shannon, to me, I got, Genevieve found 2 idols that she was not able to use.
Oh, painful. It's also so painful that like Christian and Genevieve were like further screwed by twists when like they were the 2 that found the 3 Billie Eilish Boomerang idols that they really could have used at some opportune times, and actually like then they like Ops had the idols at times. Tough. Yeah. It's interesting because like it feels like it should be fun, but it's so hard to game. Like they're on other tribes. Like how are you going to engineer people going home with an idol in their pocket? Like it really only could have been a social tool that maybe had some upside if it went south. And I think that's the only way it could have been played. And in that way, I actually much prefer what we saw in Australian Survivor of like the different tribe idols to like create those like cross-tribal connection. If that's the best part of it, I would have just preferred that. And Miles had a great tweet about this. Like in the moment, it wasn't so clear about how much it would kind of stagnate the idols in the season. And I'm sure a part of that is that like Ozzy and Rizo are so much in control and they have the idols. But like, yeah, taking idols to the point where like you're not incentivized to keep it a secret because you don't get to keep it. Now they're public. Now, and they can't be used on anyone else. Again, not just for Australian Survivor, but like some of the big moments are like who you're going to play the idol on. Some of the biggest moments in Survivor history, you know, Parvati playing idols on Jerry and Sandra, like that makes idols dynamic. Like they're very stagnant right now. Like again, like you only know who has the idols, and they can't be played on anyone else. You can't bluff with them. They're really like very defensive tools right now. And I don't think even in the moment any of us realized, production certainly didn't realize like how stagnant that would make the idols on the season.
If anything, you want to vote out the people who gave you the idol as opposed to the people who...
Because they are incentivized to vote you out.
And because they also know you have it.
Yeah. Well, but then everyone knows. And the thing is like, it's like, well, then just hide from them the secret, but there's 3 of them. So like eventually like they will find out what the mechanism was. Because for a while they were just calling it the Billie Eilish idol because I think that like the boomerang aspect was getting a little lost. On purpose, because you don't want someone to know you sent it with possibly an ulterior motive. But yeah, I mean, you're going to find that out. And then, you kind of like shouldn't work with them. Like, I don't know, none of this, it kind of feels like it should have created these complex dynamics, but it was just too hard and vague. Again, you don't have that much power on that person going home with an idol. So you might as well just treat it as like, let's be friends. And if you happen to go home with an idol, like at least I'll get like something in my pocket. It didn't work out. It might have been fun as like a one-off idol on the season, but you can't do that because it has to be this like tribal thing because you have to send it to someone else. So how could they decide one tribe to have it? Maybe the kind of thing where like an Australian Survivor where you win a reward and you get like an additional thing, but then that's too many idols. It being the idol mechanism of the season that was true of all the tribes didn't work. And there's no way for it to be an additional idol. So it probably should have been scrapped. I don't blame Billie Eilish. This woman has never watched Survivor. She'll
never watch it.
She's never acknowledged it. No, she doesn't know what is happening with this.
Well, her and her friend was on. No, that was Chappell's friend. It was on Survivor 48.
Who?
He was the music producer.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, him.
He's a music producer.
Thomas.
Yeah. Because he produces Olivia Rodrigo. I didn't know that he was a Chappell Roan thing. By the way, and Chappell Roan to me is Chappell Roan, but you did that.
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you. I got to get the win on that one. Just
the better Chappell.
I try to be. I was looking at the votes so far for these in the hands of the fans. We have a couple of votes left that we still haven't explored. Do you remember what they were?
No.
Well, we did a vote for the tribe colors. Obviously, we landed on orange, teal, and magenta. Rice
in the shredder.
60% voted for make the players earn the rice. The vote reveal and reunion, do it in Las Vegas, ends up winning, as we know. Advantages, dynamic power. Tribe switch, yes. Immunity necklace, a decorative bird. Tribe supplies, make them earn their camp supplies. Twist, I love twist, bring them on. And idols, yes. 80% said no. Now, that said, we still have the Final Four challenge to vote on. Well, to get the results
that went
for
right in the shredder.
Well, do you remember what our 3 options were?
There were 3 options?
3 options for the Final Four challenge were Pinball Wizard.
Challenge. I meant for fire.
No,
Touchy subjects?
No. Pinball Wizard, the obstacle course, and Samotion. Yeah, those are the big 3. Which one do you think is going to win and be our Final Four challenge? In just a couple.
What is Billie Eilish like?
And who will we name it after?
Yeah. Well, you won't have to name that.
Why not?
Where's Neil Patrick Harris?
Right,
Where is Nicole Brown?
Yeah, the Yvette Nicole
Brown. The better survivors, the Celebrity Brown.
The Survivor Browns. Yeah, the obstacle, the Yvette Nicole Brown, Pinball Wizard. I can see it. Which one is Pinball Wizard? Is that the one where you run up and drop the thing and then you come down?
Yeah, I think so.
Like the Plinko?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like big Samotion.
Yeah, big. That's what I thought of it.
Full body Samotion.
Yeah. Look, I think Cirie has a better chance at Samotion.
Right.
And the last thing, Final Four fire making, keep it or lose it. And we don't know the results to that, but I think we know.
I can't stomach it. I can't stomach because it's gonna be like the 80% said fire. They didn't. They didn't say that. They didn't. I will not be blamed for this.
99.6% of the fans said keep the fire.
Yeah. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
Should we ding, marry, kill the Jeffersons?
Well, I mean, there's so many, but to me, the big one is definitely the playing
challenge.
along with the challenge. What else are we going to put in the running for the Ding, Marry, Kill?
The RHAP.
Who?
And the impressions. Happened. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
because I'm marrying the impressions. The RHAP's gonna die.
The RHAP's dead.
And I'm gonna marry the impressions. I thought they were really funny. I thought it was good. I don't know why he was doing it, but I thought it was good.
I think I'm gonna marry the challenge. I
really?
think
You liked it that much?
I did. I thought that was so much fun. It was low stakes. You and I both agree there was no wager. It was just fun and games. Some shenanigans. But I think it made a rather stale challenge so fun to watch. You know, endurance challenges, especially on US Survivor, are so boring. We're just standing there. I think on AU, there's a lot more strat chat and across, you know, like they do that kind of stuff on AU a lot more. Although I kind of want to yada yada the challenges, sometimes I'm afraid I might miss something that's actually, you know, interesting as far as like conversation goes. But I mean, US Survivor, I was like, okay, maybe we're gonna get Christian filibustering again, you know, maybe something like that. No, we actually got a lot of entertaining content out of them trying to heckle Jeff having the shoe on the other foot. You know, a lot of us are Monday morning quarterback and all this stuff and talking about what we would have done, should have done, what these people could have done, but we don't actually go out and do the thing. And so we'll never really know. I think Jeff is just like us. I mean, he's a lot closer to the action than we are, but in a lot of ways, like, we got to see clips of Jeff completely shaming people for how they did in the challenge, only to basically lose to the majority of the people left in the game. And he narrowly beat Cirie. Like, Cirie almost beat Jeff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and they all beat him.
Pretty good, right? They beat him. They beat Jeff, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But I thought it was so much fun.
It was funny that it was 7.5 minutes. I mean, look, mine would be 20 seconds, but I enjoy all the montages. Other than when they showed that damn balance beam. Why is it always a balance beam for Cirie? Show me the 3, 2, 1. The show doesn't understand why Cirie is magic. They're like, what did she do? She voted out Eric. That speaks for itself. And that balance beam, my God in heaven. I wish to never see it ever again. I enjoy all the montages. Again, like, I enjoy the part of the season that is like the reverence for the show. So I enjoyed that. I kind of think like it was fine. I'm not watching the show for this reason. I enjoy the dynamics, but I think the dynamics will play out themselves. Like, as you're right, if Jeff isn't doing this, like, Christian is doing something entertaining. Christian is filibustering. Like, the best part of this was that apparently Christian was asking for the deep dives, and I heard that was amazing. You pointed that out to me. I loved it. That's what I'm here to see. Like, while it was fine, that's why it's like down to the middle one for me. Like, it's pretty neutral, but like later on, we kind of get this glimpse of Joe speaking to his sister and asking her to give him strength as he wins the challenge. That, to me, is why I'm watching. That's much more interesting to me than Jeff playing the challenge. But like, I'd like to see that you cast these people for a reason. Let them stand there creating entertainment, but it doesn't kill the show for me. It's fine. Even the RHAP, which is the one we're killing, like, it's fine. Like, give me that over the twists that break the game, for sure.
No, I don't know about the RHAP. I'm good. It's dead. Kill it. Burn it with fire. Burn it with fire. I
feel like that's what you think Hamilton is.
Yeah. it's like rap being history. So I'm like, this sounds great. I would love to see
but it's not like Hamilton.
I mean, and I've listened to you rap Hamilton more times than I would like to admit, and against my will, just like everything I learned about Mr. Beast. Never asked for that, but it's fine. We'll still take it. I would love to see Jeff have done to the poverty hang on the pole challenge. You know, like that. I think that's more entertaining than just this.
Let's get him in not even his swimwear, right? In his underwear, out in the water.
Get him to do one of these big obstacle courses like that. Maybe a heroes challenge against it. Could you ever see Jeff doing another challenge? Now, do you think he has the bug?
Oh God. Well, don't do that. Well, don't even put it out there. We saw it. It was fine.
I don't hate it. What if there was a real wager? Like, if y'all beat me, then I will double the amount of fire y'all have.
No.
And if y'all lose, then obviously, like half of you.
Don't ask to wager more things. That's the concern.
Whoever I beat will lose their vote. Yeah, that's something like that. I don't know.
No, that's terrible. That's awful.
That's awful. It is awful, but I just want to see Jeff do more stuff. I think that was fun.
Imagine if they made people lose their votes for losing against a challenger, Jeff, that would have made me angry. I'm glad it wasn't a wager because that would have broken the game. Cirie doesn't have a vote because she didn't beat Jeff in a challenge. Like, I wouldn't even be here to talk. I'm at the level where I can at least be here to complain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get a little bit past it where I'm just dead. So, but yeah, I thought this was fine. I thought it was simply fine. You know what I liked about it? I liked that it didn't take 40 minutes like Zach Brown. I don't remember like a time before I was watching that Zach Brown. Like in that moment, my God, it went on and on. Shaman, he seems like a sweet guy. It's not his fault. It's production's fault. They're making the decisions. They're making the decisions of how much time we devote to Zach Brown. That's not, again, like much like Coach and Chris, it's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He didn't ask for all that screen time, but man, I hated it. Just like I'm mad at Jimmy Fallon about this Christian thing. I don't care. I don't care. No. I don't care. 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 You can't make me care. I don't care. It might be. He shouldn't have made the call.
He didn't.
He made the call.
I don't want to tell you. He didn't make the call.
He made the call. He said, Jeff, I have that idea. And Jeff said, Jimmy, I don't know if we can give you that. He said, damn it, I'm Jimmy Fallon. He said, okay, you are Jimmy Fallon. You are Jimmy Fallon.
Even on his show with Christian, he kind of indicated that's not what happened. He's like, yeah, I have ideas and I called. You didn't watch it?
I can't, because I want Christian to like, because I'm like secretly hoping Christian like will flip the table, and he won't do it. And I'm like, well, Christian, we have to take our power back at some point. We have to, you know, I'm not gonna say we need to assault Jimmy Fallon, but if he did, I would look the other way.
No, he didn't. No one assaulted Jimmy Fallon. That was Ed. We don't know. Yeah, it's not.
I have a question.
It's the fans. What?
What'd you think of D?
D's great.
I love her. I think watching her play this season, this like solidified. Like, right? Like, yeah, she did 45 and that was good. But to me, this was like, no, like, look at D. She has chops.
It wasn't Kyle. Like, she wasn't God out there. And this is the thing that's with the new era. It's like, I really enjoy D. I thought she was great. But like, she didn't get to go to that many tribal councils. But it's not her fault. I think D is great. I thought she brought a lot of entertainment as well. Again, I didn't get to see enough either way, but like I still think has played the best like new era winning game. I think Kyle's probably the best winner though.
I'm with D still, but Kyle is definitely number 2. But I was very impressed.
Kyle was the one that I always said I would choose Kyle as like if I had to like bet on one as a player. I always thought D played the best winning game. Those two were different. And like, I think that remains even truer now that I know that Kyle can start a cult within 24 hours of being on that island.
Yeah, no, I'm very high on D, the way she performed in this season. I also was very high on Savannah. I thought that Savannah, with the spot that she was in as a winner on this particular tribe, with this makeup of tribe, and you know, there's something about just like that the gamer squirrel like type of player, right? Where it's like in them, where it's like, no, I'm here to compete. I think D has a lot of that in her, but Savannah for sure is like that switch goes off, right? And she is competitive and she's going to play hard. And I loved seeing her too. I think all 3 of the winners that they brought back really made decent showings. While I think it's very early for them to be coming back a lot, and I definitely wouldn't want to see them back on a season where they're the only 3 winners, because they're so outnumbered by all these other people who have not yet got to like capture the crown for themselves. I would love to have seen any of them play again. Even now, you know, now that they've all played twice, I'm still kind of like, I would watch the Savannah, Kyle, and D return one again. Do it all over again. When is it worth it?
I think they kind of like, it shows like they probably shouldn't have brought back Savannah. Like, I think that was validated, like for her own sake. Like, what an impossible position. Right. Really, really tough. Like, they haven't seen her. They're really scared of that. She doesn't have like the inroads, the time that Rizo ended up getting to kind of get past that. And she's the winner. Like, so tough. Like, I'd much preferred to see her later. And I'm sure we still will. And I hope we still do. She did insult Taylor Swift in the preseason. And that one's been hard for me to get
She got Taylor's karma.
And then she was like, she was coming for Cirie a bit. I was like, Savannah, there's going to be a 3rd strike. Like, if you come out against Hamilton Raps like Chappell is now, like, unfortunately, it's going to be done for us. But yeah, I think that bring up Hamilton Raps,
by the way, for the record, for all the Hamilton heads out there, it wasn't me. I just didn't deny it.
Yeah, I know how you think. Yeah, it was probably a bad spot to bring her back. But look, again, the cast have exceeded my expectations. It's just kind of like running against this wall. Was I too negative on this podcast? What did people what did people expect? I actually I had this interaction with Josh Kettles yesterday where he was like, oh, I've missed your coverage. And I'm like, well, I probably should have been kept away because I'm kind of down on the season. He's like, no, that's what I missed. I feel like I'm hopefully coming in because have people been enjoying the season? I've been too much of a casual. I think people are enjoying it more than me. And I wanted to come in here and just ask the question, is the season bad? And in talking with you, I don't know where I land.
Yeah, maybe. I think there are bad seasons of Survivor. And I think that for various different reasons. I think this season is taking big swings, and some of them are definitely whiffs, but I wouldn't say that they're bad. I would say that all of them are bad, right? And I don't think it's been enough to make the season bad. Which twist didn't whiff? The double trouble.
It was
double
fine.
duos.
It was just fine.
It was fine. And fine is okay. Fine is not bad.
That's not the best case scenario.
Oh, I'm just saying we're not looking for the best case. We're just making sure that this isn't a bad case scenario. And I thought it was fine. I think that to me, the seasons of Survivor are the ones that really put the players in a situation where the game is not what they were told. And I think that these people were told this is going to be wacky and twist-filled and crazy, and that's what they're getting. This isn't the edge of extinction. So, I mean, that's, I think, pretty universally agreed on that's a bad season, right?
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, that's what we're looking at when it comes to bad seasons. To me, this is middle of the road somewhere. It's more entertaining than a season that gets a typical pagonging or one side versus the other, and we just all eat that one side, and then we get a challenge beast kind of emerge at the end. This has been dynamic, as Jeff would say. I like dynamic.
I did enjoy another thing I'm thinking of now that I'm going through. I enjoyed the Charlie stuff. It got a little too real with Maria, but I thought it was very funny.
Charlie,
but then it was also sad because it's wow, that's really I think quite fairly eating him alive. He really went through something with that. People were coming at me a bit when I was this is kind of a trauma. It's he lost $1 million on the betrayal of a friend. I know that there are people out there who lost handily and didn't get a close friend's vote, and that ended that relationship. Let alone the winning vote. Anyway, I've spoken a lot about the Maria Charlie stuff. And I think he's legit right to yeah, at the time.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant recently.
I thought that the Maria vote was the most important vote in Survivor history, jury vote since Suhawk. I think it was I think it's probably the most compelling moment of the new era.
Interesting.
That's what I kind of loved about it, because it was this is legacy. This is actual new era legacy. We're getting a lot of that 46 stuff. Q was being fun, and Charlie brought this baggage, which again, as a human, I really feel for him because I think it's real and I think it's earned. But from a TV perspective, I was this is what is affecting him is a historic moment in the show. It's compelling AF. It's sad, but to lose $1 million by being that betrayed by someone you care about, and again, I don't want to relitigate all the jury stuff. I'm definitely not going to right now at the end of this podcast, but he's allowed to feel the type of way about it at the very least. And clearly it affects him. I thought that was great. And then they flash back to it. Every flashback kind of gets me. Balance beam aside.
Yeah. Especially not that one. I liked looking at kind of how the traumas of these people's past games have kind of manifest themselves in this. Yeah, because I think it's the point of the returning player season. Obviously you don't get that in every season where people are able to look back and say, okay, here's the thing that I want for redemption. Not to wink at AU one more time, but we saw Christian and his whole Mike White trauma that he has to navigate. Even some of these other people, like even Savannah, right? A person who won the game is still looking hey, the final tribal council was kind of rough. What did I do wrong? What can I change?
It was a war. They were all winners who had their baggage and they brought it in. And that's one of the things I found the best about that season was they all had something new they were trying to earn. Prove themselves.
Aubrey, Rick Devins, all of these people have a little bit of baggage that they're with. And I like that the show was taking time to address those things. I think the Charlie thing was way over the top. I don't think it was necessarily Charlie. I mean, don't get me wrong. He seems like they put him on TV for a reason. So he's an entertaining guy. He's obviously a showman and he's leaning into this. But I do think that it bothers me a little bit that his legacy will always be Maria. And to me, and Charlie is more, to me, Charlie is a better game player and a better Survivor character than just the Maria moment. I think there were more egregious things that happened that season than the Maria vote.
There were a lot of, we talked about this when we did the defining moments, and I think I fought for that, and it ended up being the I'm pissed moment. I get it, but I just think for me, and what I love about Survivor is someone making a really personal vote that this like heartbreaking thing and it being like the deciding vote, that's just Survivor to me. And it's hard to get that in the new era. We talked about this a lot in Australian Survivor where we did get a lot of it. Like that to me is like pure human dynamics. Someone goes in and they're hurt and maybe they shouldn't be hurt. They were coming for you, but like you can't, I don't know, you can't fight against those feelings when you're like in that position as a juror and you make a decision like that against a friend that's been like almost a defining relationship of the season. And it's the deciding vote. Like that to me is the most just like pure Survivor that I feel like we pretty much have got in the new era. That was like the last time I remember being like, and again, there's seasons I enjoy a lot in the new era, 42, 45, 47 as well. But 46 was so raw and real. And like, that was the time where I remember being like, just floored by a decision. And I like that it bled into this season because I do think like it's Survivor history at the very least. And it is upsetting that like, it does like, both Charlie and Maria's legacies get consumed in it, but like, at least it's a huge moment to be consumed in because it was a big moment.
Yeah. Is there anybody we under-edited on this podcast and left out and didn't give their flowers to? Any words for Jenna Lewis?
Jenna, she was right. She was right about
She was right.
I mean, I hated that she said it. I felt physical anger.
Right, because why would she say that?
Yeah, why would she say that? Like, so, and like Cirie's missed, obviously. I mean, she was wrong to do it as a player because how is that going to go? Like like all the things you're saying is why it's not going to work. But she was right in theory. Who else? Who else from this cast? I mean,
well, you've kind of talked about Q. We got some shenanigans.
Yeah, it was fun. Q was my top 3 case for me.
It wild to me.
I love
wild
Q.
to me that you.
I think Q was possibly the best casting of the new era. So, like for me, of everyone, Marianne is there.
I mean, I was like, come on, you always.
Marianne, Carolyn, and Q are the Mount Rushmore and that 4th spot.
I'll definitely give you Marianne and Q. I'm kind of like on the fence about Carolyn right now. Just like in general, because it's been a few seasons since that. I think that, but that I'm talking about in Survivor. So I think that the Tika 3 doesn't age well. And maybe it's just 44. But I think that, like I don't know, because I thought people were higher on Jam Jam and the whole Tika 3 as a whole. And then I heard y'all talking about it's like winner rankings. And I was like,
but now Kyle's gonna go up because Kyle's a god to these people.
But he's also played again, right? And Jam Jam has not. So I don't know. So I definitely will give you those 2 spots. I just sit around and think about it maybe as the big characters of the new era. Who are the players of the new era, if you don't mind me asking? Like, who are the like not so much characters?
Back to my baby, but who are the players?
If we have like our Mount Rushmore of Survivor, like overall, right, old era, whatever, up to 50. So Kyle is on the.
I waited 2 months to give Kyle his flowers.
Listen, do it. I'm not gonna stop you. I love Kyle.
Kyle D. You got to look at the winners first, right?
Yeah, because like what we have, like Boston Rob, Sandra, Parvati.
Well, I mean, are you doing say new era players? Though?
No, I'm saying like like in comparison to like the old era players, right? Like so we had Boston Rob, Sandra, Parvati. Who's in our 4th spot? Kim.
Cirie.
I mean, I'm taking Cirie over Kim for sure. Right?
Tony.
Like
wait, Tony. You didn't say Tony.
Tony. Yeah. So Boston Rob, Sandra, Parvati, Tony. Right? That's the big 4, right?
Tony away from me. I heard you.
No, that's the big 4. No, I'll give you that. That's the big 4. I just literally was drawing a blank. But and then like Cirie is like the patron saint of everybody who was good at Survivor but did not win. So like she can have that. But like here, okay, give us like the big 4 of the last 9 seasons.
I can't do that on the spot. That's impossible.
You ain't been talking about nothing else. You got time. Let's do it. There's only 9 winners to talk about, and you just ranked them not too long ago.
Only winners.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you would like you start with the winners, and then we'll have to expand that.
So I think
you just did this.
Yeah, D, Kyle, Marianne,
and
who are the winners? Yeah, and then is it Jam Jam? Jam Jam's like
I think
falling.
so. I think it's Jam Jam.
Since we did that podcast, like Jam Jam did the traders, and like Kyle did this, and like I feel like the rankings maybe changed a little bit. I did enjoy Jam Jam on the traders, other than like I guess like the stuff against Rob, but he's entitled. I shouldn't say that. I guess not. This is RHAP.
Yeah.
Who's the 4th? What, are we putting Marianne?
Yeah, is it not Marianne?
I think yes.
To me, I was like, Marianne is completely underrated. Like, what are they talking about?
I completely agree.
Very embarrassing, very embarrassingly. I will tell you, whenever I watch the Marianne final tribal council speech when she reveals that she has the idol. She's like, "This is the idol, and this is the note." It gets me every time. It gets me every time because it was in that moment they knew they fucked up. I was like, like, oh yeah, now y'all know. But yeah. So we got that Mount Rushmore of winners. But like, are any of these players that we've seen come back and play again, like kind of like having a resurgence? Like, whose stock has now gone up aside from Kyle, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like this is a great season for Rick Devens.
Insane stuff. I love Devens. Why does Devens get so much hate? Like, I enjoy Devens so much. He's just trying to have fun, and it's fun for me. Like, I'm having fun with him. I honestly think he's a great time. I mean, I drafted him. You what?
I drafted Rick Devens, and very proudly. Yeah,
like, I don't know if I've learned much more about him as a player or as a character. I think he's like a pretty good player who I've always really enjoyed, and like he is. I will take the deal. Banker,
take the deal. Yeah. Give me the Rick Devens win. Give me the Ozzy win. Give me the Cirie win. I think I drafted Ozzy and Rick Devens.
Stop that. Now you're just bragging.
I'm just saying.
You got Ozzy, you're going to win.
I mean, or Rick Devens. I think Rick Devens could win the season too.
You think so?
I would love Cirie to win, but yeah, I could see Rick doing it. Do you think Tiffany is our sleeper pick? You know, because in the All-Star seasons, we typically get that person.
Nah, she didn't get enough. She's been fun though. I was enjoying it. Like once we finally started hearing from her, like she had a really good like continuous like reaction back from tribal stuff that I think has been enjoyable. I love Rick Devens. I love what he and Christian were doing. I had so much fun with it. They were having fun and I was having fun watching them. Who's your winner pick? That's the last question. Then we're done.
I mean, Cirie is my winner pick. I'm like you.
You are going to get so hurt, and I will be there for
I can't be hurt. I can't be hurt.
You can come to me. And I'll be like, you moron. How do you keep falling for this? This is completely on you, but I will also be there for you.
I can't. I have to allow myself to feel.
No,
I think with Coach, part of the journey is that Coach is always going to fail at Survivor. That's just him. And so like, you know, you have to take the good with the bad. You have to take the awful, awful days where you're like being like, who is this jackass? Only to then watch him get voted out and be like, that wasn't the worst thing in the world. I could watch that again.
Like exactly. Right. It's fun because he's right. Like, you're like they're against him, and then it's gonna like. I actually didn't think that was like a great way for Coach to go. I guess just in Tide, it kind of was obscured by Tide Destinies. I was also thinking this season, it's just so wrong. It's like watching like a dog walk on its hind legs when you see these old school players interact with these new era things. Where he's like, Coach is like, I'll play my shot in the dark, and I'm like, it doesn't feel.
Why do you have that? Yeah, you shouldn't be allowed to say that.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why Coach is fun. He's a foil.
Right.
Like,
but yeah. I say all that to say, I think part of the journey with Cirie is going on the journey. It's the roller coaster. It's watching her kind of be like at the bottom of the tribe. If we're talking about Panama or something like that, or perceived to be like, oh, on the outs or something like that. And then we get the story about how she gets off the proverbial couch and then she goes on to do these amazing things. And you're on there and you're with her on the journey. And then like when she hurts, you hurt. When she cries, you cry. You go on that journey. And so it's like, if it means Cirie is going to lose, then F it, that's Survivor. That's what it's been. But if she wins, Shannon, it's the best win of all time, regardless of how it happens. There could be 3 Marias on this tribe, and it doesn't matter if they all vote for Cirie. It means nothing else. Yeah, so I think I have to be able to go with it. I think that Cirie is my winner pick, but like I take the Aubrey case, I take the Rick case, I take the Tiffany case, I take the Ozzy case, I take the Rizo case. I got 5 cases on the board. Shannon, this season is fine with me, and that's outside of Cirie.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we feel differently. We have a very different Donned board.
Yeah, you only have 1 case left. It's Cirie.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'd be happy for like Rick Devens. I think Rizo's gone up in stock as well. But yeah, like most of my top cases, you know, like it's not a great thing. Like Chrissy Teigen, the banker, is definitely, you know, got more cases than I do. But and again, like I don't necessarily dislike most of these people. You know, like I like Joe. I don't want him to win the season. Like, you know, I like him as a person, but like in terms of like the player.
No, Joe is dope. Joe seems very, very kind and very nice. And
he also gets a lot of hate from someone who's just like kind of trying to advocate
to play the game and be nice
and be nice. Yeah, like the honor integrity thing, I get it, but like I don't know. I also think that kind of crazy. Just like
but look, people like Coach do that to everybody, right? Because when what happens is we get the scenes of Coach being like, and if you lie in this game, you know, I guarantee you won't win the game. Like, Coach, how dare you? You know, just decide that, you know.
they were like less great than the sum of their parts. Like it was like these people could all be fun, but if they link up, we're done. Like if they're all alone, they could all be good, but if they all get together, then they're all down. And then like that was happening, and then we had an honor and integrity alliance. But again, as a foil, we're okay. But yeah, I probably should go. Chappell, thank you so much for letting me just like brain dump 2 months of thoughts on the season. I had a great time. Tell the people where to find this stuff.
Look, they know where to find me. Recapkickback.com is where I'm doing my thing, talking about, sometimes reality TV, but mostly just whatever I want to talk about. So I got Flavor of Love content over there. We're actually talking about VH1's Charm School, which if you were around at that time, God bless you. But Chantel and I are talking about it live. Gia and I still have our Abbott Elementary coverage. We still haven't recorded our season finale coverage yet, but it's coming soon. So tune in for that. And Mari and I will be talking about the Michael Jackson movie, Michael, the biopic that has recently been released. We'll be talking about that soon. So we got a lot of content coming your way. But Shannon, of course, I love talking about Survivor with you. I love listening to you talk about Survivor. And so it has been very boring around these streets to not have you talking about it constantly. So I was very happy that I was selected to be in this role, to get to chop it up with you and vibe about the season. And hopefully you start feeling better, because I know once the Cirie win happens, we will all rejoice in her power. And so I'm very excited for the day that comes, and looking forward to hearing the rest of your takes later on.
Well, she won the Chissy, okay? So whatever happens, we'll always, and it was a fair.
Is anybody shocked?
Fair and true. Give her the mug because it's done. But it was so much fun. This is mostly for me, right? Like it's great for my mental health to be able to come and talk about the show. Hopefully some people listen to it and enjoy it. But like, I want to talk about 50. I didn't get to, to talk about 50. And maybe again, every week probably would have been too much for my blood pressure. But I think this was like a good spot to put it. Follow me at Shannon Gates. I'm hoping to do a Guss and around soon. We're really hoping to like get to that, to actually go through the last 2-ish months of our life, which has been a lot. A lot of it really good, a lot of it really hard, but a lot of it really good. Feeling great today. Got a lot of sleep last night. So if any of the takes were bad, that's like fully on me, not on my baby. Please don't blame her. Please don't send in hate about the baby. Thank you so much, Chappell. This has been great. Thank you to our team behind the scenes. Thank you to everyone for listening. And when will I see you next time? That's a good question. I hope to do something maybe after the finale. Talk about the last few weeks.
Okay. And then I gotta come to Australia.
Yeah, but you always say that and then you don't. So
I'm working on it. I got a
see how
job.
good the finale looked in the reunion of Australian Survivor?
I literally said, "Oh my God, I've never considered this before, but I should go to Australia." That was the moment.
Yeah, I was hoping that people would think it because it looks so.
And
good.
I won the draft.
I know, and you're gonna win this one probably.
I hope so. I mean, unless Cirie wins, then which is better, obviously. But yeah,
I will take the Emily case.
that's my
draft pick. My draft pick. Yeah. I'll take the case. Win the draft.
Whew, that'll be interesting. Let's see. Yeah, I love fun TV. Let's see if we can make that happen.
All right. Well, this was great. Again, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.